Warcraft Invasion of Marvel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. Gabe transfers to another school. It was already early morning when Luden left, and the sky was just getting light. The Grandmaster also needs to rest. Although his body, like Captain America, will not be tired, his spirit will be tired, especially after looking at Luden's big black bald head for several hours. The light was so dazzling that it made me dizzy. I closed the door, turned off the lights and windows, and took a nap with Sky. Just as the sky got light, I was awakened by a knock on the door. Who is it? Can I sleep? Sky got up with difficulty, wrapped in a bedsheet, and opened the door. Two thin boys appeared in front of him. Robbie, Gabe, you are not going to work today. Go back to sleep. As he was about to close the door, to catch up on his sleep, a hand reached in, and was caught by the door. Robbie hurriedly said, Sky, I have something to do with the boss. Okay. Sky closed the door hard. Wait a minute. Robbie silently retracted his hand. Sky went back to dress and wash up, and opened the door again half an hour later. You guys chat. I'll go buy breakfast. What do you want to talk to me about? Lao Wang put on his clothes, picked up a stack of newspapers, and asked while lying on the rattan chair to read, is it related to these three? Before leaving yesterday, Lao Wang said hello to Robbie, and asked him to help take care of Matt, Erica and the old man with the stick. Did Erica and the old man with the stick wake up, or did Matt want to have a long talk and hug his thigh again? No. Robbie glanced at Gabe next to him. We plan to live in New York for a long time. Gabe hasn't graduated from high school yet and needs to transfer. I want to ask the boss if there is any way. In the United States, it is still not easy to transfer schools. Robbie has no connections and no money. More importantly, Robbie cares about his only brother and only relative very much, and hopes that Gabe can go to a better high school, so that it will be easier and more convenient for him to go to Stanford or Berkeley in the future. Transfer? Lao Wang smiled. This is not difficult. Among the old men and women he had massaged, at least 30 or 40 of them had been teachers in middle schools. There was also a middle school in Chinatown, and he was very familiar with the principal, but that school was not very good, and the teachers and students were mainly Chinese, which might not meet Robbie's requirements. But it didn't matter. Lao Wang had connections. Wait a moment. Lao Wang took out his cell phone and dialed. Master Wang. Luden's voice came over, with 3 parts of annoyance, 3 parts of sleepiness, 3 parts of questioning, and 1 part of wanting to beat someone up. It's only 7 o'clock now. I just went to bed. Still lying in bed so early in the morning. Are all leaders like this? A moment in the morning is worth 1,000 gold. Lao Wang complained in his heart, and got straight to the point. In order to better help S.H.I.E.L.D., the newly appointed special advisor Gabriel decided to transfer to another school, and live in New York permanently. Can S.H.I.E.L.D. help arrange it? Special advisor? Who is Gabriel? Luden shook his head, and sobered up a little. Then he remembered that he had drunk a guo-tao with Luden last night, and hired Master Wang and the people from the Zenshin Society as special advisors of S.H.I.E.L.D. to teach practical kung fu. Gabe, Master Wang accepted him as his apprentice just half a month ago. Let him be a special consultant? Master Wang, you are going too far. Luden silently told himself, don't be angry, don't be angry. It's just an identity. It doesn't matter. We are in the honeymoon period. We can't quarrel with Master Wang because of this. After thinking seriously for 2 seconds, he said, then come to the S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy. The academy has the best hardware facilities and the best faculty. Many of his classmates are masters and doctors, and the teachers are mainly famous scientists. Don't. Lao Wang quickly refused. Gabe is a consultant, not an agent. It's better to find a better middle school. He wants to go to Stanford and Berkeley. What if I go to your territory and get brainwashed and become a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? It's okay to become a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. What if I become a Hydra member who can only shout Hail Hydra? Luden is used to calculating. Every word and every action is carefully considered. The more times he calculates others, the lower the failure rate, the more accumulated, and he has long been used to it. But from what Master Wang said, the Shield Academy is not as good as Stanford and Berkeley, except for the fact that it has never produced a president. What else is better than them? Luden was unhappy and snorted. Then let's go to Midtown High School, the best public high school in Manhattan and even in the entire state of New York. Midtown High School? Lao Wang knocked on the handrail, and it seemed that there was a little guy from Midtown High School. I don't know if he has become Spider-Man now. Probably not. This is the MCU after all. The Spider-Man in this universe should still be an elementary school student. 10 years later, during the Avengers 3, he was still a high school student. Forget it. It won't interfere with his life trajectory. What if Spider-Man doesn't become Spider-Man because of the butterfly effect? Then wouldn't this world be less fun? I'll have someone contact Mr. Robbie Reis. Luden couldn't handle such a small matter personally, so he could just leave it to Hill. As a level 9 agent and deputy to the director, one of the few in the bureau, he is responsible for specific work. The director coordinates the overall situation, and the deputy does it when there is something to do. If there is nothing to do, cough cough, the director is very busy and works all year round. It is impossible for him to be busy. After hanging up the phone and telling Robbie, Ghost Rider took Gabe to squat and practice boxing. Lao Wang continued to read the newspaper while eating boiled eggs and drinking soy milk. Today's headlines: a shooting occurred at Columbia University. A professor, 2 male students and a female student were accidentally shot and killed in the woods. More than 20 people were injured. The school was very angry and strongly condemned the police for inaction. Columbia University alumnus, Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Science, and famous neurosurgeon Stephen Strange expressed concern about New York's public security and strongly called on all sectors of society to protect the future of mankind. Commissioner George of the New York Police Department reiterated that he would fight against evil forces to the end. Kung Fu, a term that has been brought up again. Can Kung Fu masters resist modern weapons? Is the ancient legend true? Are there really dragons in this world? 18 things to note about choosing a martial arts school and the recruitment notices of the 10 best martial arts schools in New York. Wan Daling, a special correspondent of the Chinese Daily, will follow up for you. The impact is really great. Lao Wang sighed. As one of the best universities in the United States, Columbia University has produced several presidents and dozens of heads of state. Now a bloody incident has occurred, and many people have died. The response from all walks of life is huge. The New York police and even the New York City government have to bear a lot of pressure. Whether it is the Hand or Wilson Fisk, there will be no major actions for the time being. This is the calm before the storm. I hope SHIELD can do better. The Hand must be wiped out. This is not only because the Hand has what he needs, such as the remaining dragon bone. It is also because the Hand is a brick, a stepping stone to knock on the door of Kunlun, a certain apartment. After sleeping for nearly a day and a night, the old man with a stick finally woke up. I'm not dead yet. A simple check of the body showed that there was no wound at all, not even a scar left by healing, except for the bloodstains. Was everything I experienced last night a dream? No, of course not. The heartbeat was not strong enough, the breathing was a little difficult, the physical condition was not good enough, and the internal injuries were not healed. Everything yesterday was real. Yoshia Kanobu and the ninjas are real, and the Immortal Iron Fist is also real. So, it was the Immortal Iron Fist who saved me? Thinking of this, the stick old man couldn't help but get excited. You're awake. Matt, who hadn't slept all the time, walked over from Erica's bed, carefully sensed for 7 seconds, and a trace of relief appeared on his face. She's in good condition, and she will be healed in a week at most. The stick old man barely got up from the bed and took a deep breath. Matt, were you the one who asked the Immortal Iron Fist for help yesterday? I want to see him. Thanks to Zio882 for the 100 reward. Chapter 77, Lao Wang vs. Beast. Azeroth Specialty Shop. Stick old man wants to see me. Lao Wang hung up the phone and touched his chin. It was expected. This old man is quite powerful. He woke up earlier than he thought. Compared with his decayed and shrunken body, Stick old man's mental will is obviously much stronger than Black Sky Erica. He is old, but his heart is not old. He is still young and young. He is a promising talent. Since you want to meet, then meet. There is no reason not to be a younger brother. And about the matter of shield and the hand, we must inform them to avoid being exposed. Close the door, let's go and take a look. Lao Wang got up and went to the apartment not far away with Sky. Master Wang, thank you for your help. Matt opened the door and thanked him sincerely. If Master Wang hadn't responded to the call and summoned the dragon to kill the hand ninja, the three of them would have been game over long ago. Having saved 3 lives at once, Matt felt that he would never be able to repay this favor in this lifetime, because the only way to repay a life-saving favor is to save one's own life. He didn't think that one day he would be able to save Master Wang's life, and maybe Master Wang would save his life again. Or in the next life. I don't know if there is reincarnation in this world. You are my legal advisor. If you are killed by the hand, who should I turn to if the Azeroth specialty store encounters legal problems in the future? Lao Wang smiled, felt the delicate body twitching and changing positions on the bed, as well as the unstable and even somewhat excited mental state in the delicate body, and frowned slightly. Erica hasn't woken up yet? She slept for a day and a night. Matt's face didn't look good. Obviously he was very concerned about his ex-girlfriend. Her heartbeat is unstable. Her breathing is unstable. Her mood is very bad. I can feel that she is afraid, scared, and resisting. Her heart is full of some kind of tyrannical and wild power. She seems to have turned into a beast now. A beast ready to pounce on others at any time. Lao Wang nodded. Very normal. The influence of the beast is not so easy to resist. Matt was stunned. Beast. What is that? Lao Wang was also stunned, looking at the old man with a stick, who had been silent. You haven't told him yet? This old man is unreliable. Not in time. The old man with the stick replied, looking at Lao Wang, his voice trembling slightly, and it turned out to be not very pure Chinese. Are you the immortal Iron Fist? Yes, I'm the Iron Fist. Lao Wang replied, thinking that this is what you said. I never said it before. It's your business how to guess. You can't blame me if you guess wrong. Of course, Lao Wang didn't think he was lying. I'm the next Iron Fist. I will definitely do it. If the people of Kunlun are not happy, I will beat the people of Kunlun, and then beat Xiao Lao. Lao Wang is not a person who likes violence. He prefers to convince people with reason. It doesn't take fists to convince Kunlun. Enough benefits will do. The immortal Iron Fist is the gatekeeper of Kunlun. The stronger the better. And if I remember correctly, the next Iron Fist should be Danny Rand, the real man who can only concentrate the power of the dragon on one fist, charge for 2 hours and last for 5 seconds. Lao Wang has always been very humble. But in front of Danny Rand, there is no way to be humble. Otherwise what if he gets fat? As long as the people of Kunlun are not blind, there is no suspense whether to choose him or Danny. Even if Lao Wang is blind, he is not afraid. At most, he will be defeated. The old man with a stick became more excited. Although he has seen the performance of the immortal Iron Fist with his own eyes and asked Matt, it is one thing to guess, and another thing for the other party to admit it personally. This membrane must be pierced, otherwise he will always feel uncomfortable, and must have something in his heart. The True Pure Society has been following the elders in the Iron Fist of Kunlun. However, Kunlun belongs to another dimension. It only appears on the top of Kunlun Mountain in China once every 10 years, and even if it appears, it basically does not communicate with the outside world. He has always wanted to find Kunlun, and has learned Chinese for this purpose, but unfortunately he has never found it. In fact, although the immortal Iron Fist is the gatekeeper of Kunlun, he occasionally leaves Kunlun to do things, leaving many legends, but the True Pure Society is unlucky, and has never met it. Kunlun and the immortal Iron Fist are the spiritual symbols of the True Pure Society, but they are only spiritual symbols. Now, I finally see the real person. The myth and legend became reality, and this feeling was really exciting. Most importantly, he had always been worried that the immortal Iron Fist might not be as powerful as the legend said, and that the faith of the True Pure Society would collapse. Now the big stone in his heart finally fell to the ground. The old man with the stick trembled, his legs softened, and he was about to kneel down. The True Pure Society had a etiquette of kneeling, and of course he couldn't be rude when meeting the immortal Iron Fist for the first time. If the Iron Fist was a frivolous young man in his 20s, he might still be a little unhappy and might even teach him how to do things and be a man as an elder. But the Iron Fist in front of him gave him a feeling of being as tall as a mountain, which was definitely not something a young man could have. He must be at least 50 or 60 years old, or even older. Don't. Lao Wang hurriedly stopped him, and a burst of true energy helped the old man up. This will shorten your life. Of course, Lao Wang didn't believe in shortening your life and cherishing blessings, but he really couldn't stand having an old man who looked at least 60 or 70 years old kneel down to him. He couldn't get over this mental barrier, and he would not be as old as the other person in his 3 lifetimes combined. The old man wanted to insist, but he couldn't kneel down at all. He admired and convinced the immortal Iron Fist even more in his heart. He is worthy of being the immortal Iron Fist, with a strong true energy, no worse than Madame Gao who has lived for thousands of years. The true pure society will always follow you. The old man no longer insisted and promised Lao Wang, "You have no one in the true pure society." Okay. Lao Wang was moved. This is exactly what I need. Your efforts have not been in vain. The true pure society has been curbing the development of the Hand Society and has made great contributions. Now that I'm here, your mission will be completed soon. You have proved yourself and earned the qualification to go to Kunlun. Go to Kunlun? The old man's mood, which was about to calm down, was excited again. Can I go to Kunlun? There will be a chance, but not now. Verbal promises are worthless, but it is a good thing to give this stubborn old man some comfort. If you can really go to Kunlun, take him with you. The leader of the true pure society is qualified. Lao Wang didn't intend to waste words on this issue and changed the subject. Regarding the beast, Matt is your apprentice, and naturally he is also a member of the true pure society. He has the right to know. Besides, I don't know much either. The true pure society doesn't know much either. The stick old man felt guilty. We only know that the beast is an ancient evil god, an evil and terrifying existence. It can't appear in our world alone and must find a container. The qualified Black Sky is the container. There are not many such people, and the Hand has been looking for them. Is Erica the Black Sky? The container of the beast? Matt asked hurriedly. Yes. The stick old man sighed. I realized this a long time ago. I have been training Erica, hoping to help her fight against the beast. But I failed. The power of the beast is not what I could imagine. Erica has shown an uncontrollable violent tendency since she was a child. She gets angry easily. Once she gets angry, she will hurt people, or even kill people. Matt, who has always been calm, panicked. Is there no way? Violent tendency? If you count in bed, Erica is quite violent. Maybe. The old man looked at Lao Wang. The Hand wants to use the power of the beast to fight against Kunlun and the immortal Iron Fist, so Kunlun and the immortal Iron Fist should also be able to fight against the beast. Matt immediately looked at Lao Wang, breathing rapidly. Master Wang, I'll try. Lao Wang sighed and walked in front of Erica. He raised his left hand and stretched it towards her body. The strong true energy was injected into it. The spiritual power that has been constantly strengthened for 3 lives and 3 worlds enveloped Erica's delicate body. Lao Wang closed his eyes, but suddenly he saw another pair of eyes. A pair of blood red beast eyes. Thanks to Lee Zion from World of Warcraft for the 1000 reward. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 78 Mental Battle. This is Lao Wang's spiritual world. The whole world is peaceful, like the Zenstaff forest in the morning breeze and dew. When every Pandaren elder on the Wandering Isle feels that his life is about to end, he will come to the Zenstaff forest, stick his walking stick in the ground, and sit cross-legged beside the walking stick. The walking stick will take root and sprout at a very fast speed, and then grow into a tree when the Pandaren elder dies completely. And the soul of the Pandaren elder will wander around the tree, guard it, and merge with the tree. This is the Zenstaff forest, the sacred place of the Wandering Isle. This is the place that Lao Wang remembers most deeply because Master Shangzi, who led him on the road and taught him martial arts and principles, was there. It was also there that Lao Wang felt the spiritual will of the Pandaren elders of all generations, accepted their guidance and help, and communicated with the supergiant turtle Shenzhen Su for 3 days and 3 nights. Only then did Lao Wang become a master monk in less than 2 years, breaking the record of the Pandaren race for tens of thousands of years, and laid a solid foundation for his promotion to Grand Master and Grandmaster. It was also there that Lao Wang kidnapped Ji Fireclaw and Aisha Yunch, and of course the more important little Lali Lily Storm Stout, and headed to the distant eastern kingdoms to begin his suicidal journey to save Azeroth. Lao Wang's spiritual world upholds the tradition of the Pandaren, peaceful and tranquil, like the starry sky, the abyss, the sea without wind and waves, and more like the silent ancient forest. But now, it is dark in all directions, like the black sky. A terrifying existence is invading. Looking at the black monster without a specific shape, and the blood-red eyes at the front of the monster, full of madness and primitive desire, Lao Wang remembered the evil demons he saw when he came to the Pandaria continent that year. Some are similar. They are all magical creatures without entities, monsters full of negative emotions, constantly affecting other people's bodies and minds, and even have the ability to attach to other people's bodies and use them as containers. They have no gender, and they don't care about gender. They can be men or women, or neither men nor women. But there are also some differences. There are different types of evil demons. The 7 evils are 7 different evil spirits: the evil of fear, the evil of madness, the evil of rage, the evil of doubt, the evil of confusion, the evil of hate, and the evil of pride. They represent 7 different negative emotions. An evil spirit usually only has one, and has only one influence on the container. But the beast is different. It mobilizes the primitive desire of the container, the wild beast nature, the original sin of all creatures, the original sin. Once it successfully possesses a body, it can continuously absorb the sins of countless people in this world. The more crimes are committed, the stronger the power of the beast will be, and the stronger the beast nature will be. The 7 evils do not have beast nature. The beast gives Lao Wang the feeling that it is more like the wilderness gods representing natural life, and more like the wolf demigod Goldrin who dared to roar at the moon goddess. This is not important, because Lao Wang is very familiar with both the 7 evils and Goldrin. Lao Wang is very familiar with all the wilderness gods of Azeroth, and even all the lower demigods of the troll race, and has dealt with them all. Lao Wang has rich experience in how to expel those lower gods who want to come to the physical world, the evil demons that possess Zhu Talon or Neo Chanhao, or other things. Is it you who stopped me from getting into her body and coming to the earth? How dare a humble and stand in front of a great god? You have only one destination, which is death. A furious voice sounded, and blood-red eyes stared at Lao Wang intently, and a beast claw covered with black hair grabbed towards Lao Wang. This guy's not weak, a bit interesting. Lao Wang smiled. This is his spiritual world. The boundless darkness outside is the spiritual world of the beast. The spiritual world of the beast is desperately suppressing and attacking Lao Wang's spiritual world, and the black beast that Lao Wang saw was not the body of the beast. It was a projection. The power of the projection alone is much stronger than that of ordinary people. This level of power is absolutely impossible for ordinary people to resist. No wonder Erica, who has received more than 10 years of harsh training from the Stickman, has been constantly lost and fallen under the tyranny of the beast, and finally merged with the beast, and became Black Sky. However, so what? The beast that has not really descended, can only borrow Erica's soul. The boundless darkness outside is the beast's spiritual world, but the black giant beast that has been transformed is actually Erica's nightmare illusion. This is a mental competition and soul confrontation without any real power. In this confrontation, the more stable the soul, the more determined the spirit, the richer the experience, and the more postures, the stronger the person. This body that has been languishing for 18 years and even violated its nature to practice, even today, is just equivalent to a very ordinary Pandaren monk master, such as the elders of the Wandering Isle or the masters of Pandaria. But the soul carried by the boat of flesh has been blessed by many dragon kings, gods of the wilderness, and titan guardians. It has continued to grow stronger over the past 3 lives and decades, and has reached perfection in the joy or pain of the fusion of soul and flesh again and again. It has been nourished in the cradle of life, and has strengthened itself in the torture of the 7 evil spirits. It has wandered like a demigod in the emerald dream without the concept of time and space, and has experienced epic and magnificent wars in the ancient war where time flows backwards. It has received the blessings of all titans, except Sargeras in the pantheon. How powerful is such a soul and spirit? How dare you, the evil beast? The soul and body are separated. The soul left the body, floated in the spiritual world, and then continued to expand. When the black beast's huge claws covered with black hair reached out, Lao Wang was as small as its grey nails. But when the huge claws came in front of Lao Wang, the black beast was like Lao Wang's white nails, tiny and pitiful. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Do you think I'm just a slightly fat young man who just turned 18? Sorry, my soul is stronger than you can imagine. My experience is richer than you have ever had. My body is rounder than you have ever noticed. My posture is. In another world. Lao Wang reached out and grabbed the black beast like an ant. Then he squeezed it hard. The boundless darkness quickly retreated. A pair of more terrifying blood red eyes appeared in the darkness, separated by an unknown distance of time and space. I will come back. You can't stop me. Even if you kill this girl, you can't stop me, because there are many black voids in this world. Even if you kill all the black voids, it's useless. As long as there is sin and animality in this world, there will be black voids. I will eventually come. The darkness completely disappeared, and there were stars around. It was the fusion of the stars of the 3 worlds of 3 lives and 3 worlds, representing the universe and starry sky in Lao Wang's subconscious mind, and his desire to go home. Come. Then come. Next time you come, don't leave. I have experience dealing with things like you. He shook his head and smiled. Well, a groan sounded, calling Lao Wang back to reality. Thanks to Big Spinnaker, Zun 882, Liar Kaolian and the Godfather of Tomorrow for the 100 rewards. Chapter 79. Really, I'm not a good master. Lao Wang opened his eyes and saw Erika sitting up suddenly with a confused look on her face. Well, her face was flushed, her clothes were disheveled, and the quilt wrapped around her body slipped off, revealing bright red and white. This color combination was very impactful. There was no need to guess. Erika must have had a lot of dreams that were not suitable for children during her sleep for a day and a night. Matt only said that he felt Erika was afraid, scared, and resisting. In fact, he also felt Erika's excitement and impatience in some aspects. Of course, he couldn't tell Lao Wang about this, but don't think Lao Wang didn't know. The monks have a strong sense of perception, not to mention the experienced Grandmaster. You strike a pose, and Lao Wang will know how many times you have satisfied it. Beast represents primitive desires. Beast nature not only includes barbarism, cruelty, and tyranny, but also that aspect. The primitive worship of any race is the worship of reproduction, and this is true for humans and beasts. Westerners are more open-minded. Under the influence of the beast, Erika is more open-minded than most Westerners. Matt is probably not his first man, nor the last. The desire of black sky is impossible to be satisfied. Simply put, it is unsatisfied. Of course, this has nothing to do with Lao Wang. Maybe in Matt's eyes, Erika is really good looking, but in Lao Wang's eyes, Erika is actually very average. For example, she is thin, with no flesh on her face, and feels too bony and not fleshy. It's uncomfortable. Okay. Much worse than the panda people. Okay. This is why Lao Wang doesn't like the undead. Okay. Erika. Matt's voice was full of concern. How are you now? He rushed to Erika and wrapped her up with a quilt. Although he couldn't see it, based on the slight friction between the clothes and the skin caused by the slight trembling of the body, he quickly presented Erika's familiar body and unfamiliar clothes in his mind. Knowing that Erika's clothes were disheveled, is this okay? There are outsiders present. What's going on? Erika had no idea what was going on. In fact, she didn't know anything about the beast, or that she was Black Sky. The old man with the stick had been hiding it from her. But he soon guessed something, based on past experiences. Am I crazy again? It doesn't matter. Master Wang saved you. Matt didn't want to talk about how many times Erica moaned and twisted that day and night, how many times the stick old man took the initiative to hide, and he didn't want to know how the stick old man dealt with Erica's previous situation. He just said it and changed the subject. Master Wang is the immortal Iron Fist of this generation. The next generation. Old Wang argued in his heart, then met Erica's inquiring eyes and said, "The beast was driven away by me." Seeing Erica's puzzled face, Matt hurriedly explained, "It's like this." He learned and applied it on the spot, repeating the knowledge about beast, obviously still a little scared, and looked at old Wang. "Master Wang, you drove the beast away. In that case, Erica will no longer be possessed by the beast. Is she no longer He-Kang?" "No, she is still He-Kang." Old Wang shook his head and said, "I destroyed the spiritual projection of the beast, and it will come again." The old man with the stick also explained, "The beast is the condensation of primitive desires. It cannot be completely eliminated. Even if it is eliminated, it will be resurrected after a period of time. As long as there are creatures and desires on the earth, it will appear again." Why does it sound like the evil spirit? The essence of human beings is a repeater, and the essence of creation is reference and plagiarism. Old Wang complained in his heart. Matt was anxious. What should I do? The old man with the stick obviously didn't have any good ideas. Zenshin, who didn't know much about beasts, so he had to say, "Master Wang can drive it away once, and he can also drive it away a second and third time." So he admired the immortal Iron Fist in front of him to the extreme. He can even drive away the beast. He is worthy of being the person I want to follow, the goalkeeper of Kunlun. Matt was stunned. This is troublesome. Erica seems to be able to go crazy at any time, and the beast may come at any time. You can't let Erica follow Master Wang 24 hours a day, right? Although Erica is not his current girlfriend, but his ex-girlfriend, it still seems not so good. Lao Wang glanced at the old man with the stick, and felt that this old man had completely fallen for him, and became his crazy fan. He looked at Matt again, and felt that this daredevil, who was not mature enough at the moment, was just overthinking. He wanted to give me a girl, but I didn't want her. This was not an NTR story. External forces are unreliable. If you want to fight against the beast, you can only rely on your own strength, the power of life itself. That is key. Lao Wang said the plan he had made a long time ago. "I will teach Erica martial arts and guide her to generate ki, and use ki to fight against the beast through the use of life energy. The same goes for you. Ki." The old man with the stick looked at each other. Matt looked at Erica, and Erica looked at each other. They all saw, or sensed each other's excitement. Becoming a kung fu master, and mastering ki is the highest pursuit of every martial artist. The old man with the stick never did it in his life. Matt and Erica didn't think they could do it either. But now, it seems that there is really hope. This must be difficult, right? The old man with the stick asked tentatively. He thought he was knowledgeable, but there were only a few kung fu masters who had cultivated ki, and they could be counted on both hands. Lao Wang thought of those years in World of Warcraft. With his promotion, the Pandaren martial arts spread throughout the world. Humans, dwarves, gnomes, Draenei, night elves, blood elves, orcs, Tauren, trolls, undead, people of all ethnic groups became monks under the guidance of Pandaren monks, ushering in a flourishing era of martial arts for all the people. Those people were not Lao Wang's disciples. But after Lao Wang became a grandmaster, all Pandaren monks were nominally Lao Wang's disciples. The wise are the teachers, and even Zhu Talon, the head of Spitting Blood, had to salute him and ask for the way of the grandmaster. So it can be basically considered that all the monks in the entire world of Warcraft are Lao Wang's disciples. The world of Warcraft is full of all kinds of magical energy. Under the nourishment of these energies, the vitality of individual creatures is much stronger than that of earthlings. Cultivating Ki can only be considered as the entry level, and is far from being a master monk. I dare not say how many there are. There should be tens of thousands of people who can use Ki, but this number is too scary. This is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not other parallel universes. In some universes, any small minion of the hand can use Ki. The strength of a hand is estimated to be comparable to that of the Shadow Pan Monastery. It is very difficult. Lao Wang sighed. Stickman, Matt, and Erica pursed their lips. I'm not a good master. Lao Wang felt that Master Shangzi was the best master in the world. He was patient and persuasive. All the monks who were still alive on the Wandering Isle were his apprentices, or his apprentices' apprentices. The three gritted their teeth. I don't have much experience. I've only taught for 2 years, and only occasionally. Lao Wang felt ashamed. Although he promoted panda and martial arts, he rarely taught in person. Most of the time, he led the leaders and followers of the Alliance tribe to kill people. The three of them were dejected. I should have only taught 108 Kung Fu masters. Thinking about the monks he had taught himself, Lao Wang said a more modest integer, accompanied by a sigh of regret. 2 years. 108 Kung Fu masters? The three fighting masters looked at each other again. The old man with a stick knelt down with a plop. Erica knelt down soon after. Matt saluted with his hands clasped together. 3 pairs of bright or blind eyes looked at Lao Wang, as if they saw the cutest person in the world. Chapter 80. I have money. Somewhere in the United States, a sleeping little boy suddenly opened his eyes. His blood-red pupils dilated, surging with an animality full of primitive desires. This night, this small family was full of heinous crimes. Matt's apartment. Your physical fitness is too poor. Lao Wang simply checked the bodies of Matt, the stick man and Erica, and frowned slightly. These three are masters of fighting, and the stick man is also a master of martial arts, but their physical fitness is really average. Not to mention Lao Wang, even Sky, who drank a lot of the essence of the eternal well water, can't compare with them, far behind. Strong strength depends not only on experience, skills, and equipment, but also on physical fitness. The body is the capital of the revolution. And if you want to cultivate true ki, the importance of the body is above other aspects. The essence of true ki is the energy of life itself. Without a strong enough physique and strong enough vitality, there is no way to cultivate true ki. Even if you are lucky enough to cultivate it, each strand of true ki is condensed and transformed from a large amount of essence. The more true ki, the worse the body, and eventually it will be hollowed out. Poor in literature, but rich in martial arts. Poor in diet and poor in physical fitness. Practicing martial arts is equivalent to chronic suicide. After all, this is not World of Warcraft, not Azeroth, without such rich arcane energy and life energy, turning the impossible into possible. Make up for the loss of the body first. Lao Wang took out the bottle of eternal water, feeling a little distressed. The bottle was originally very small, and there was less than 1/3 of liquid left in it, and this was after adding wine twice. The content of the essence of the Well of Eternity was very low and not enough. The Well of Eternity provided arcane energy and life energy for the original Azeroth, promoting the reproduction of life and the growth of all things. It is the most gentle, effective, and luxurious way to replenish physical losses and improve physical fitness. Only a few beings such as the Queen of the Night Elf and the gods of the world have enjoyed it. And now, in addition to Lao Wang, Sky, Gabe, and Black Widow, Matt, Erica and Stick Old Man have also begun to enjoy this treatment. There is not much essence left in the Well of Eternity, but fortunately it can be replenished. Wait for me first. Lao Wang's spirit entered the Heart of Azeroth, and asked the young lady to open the space-time channel. He exchanged 0.44 grams of Azeroth's blood for the essence of the eternal well water, leaving only 0.2 grams for backup. Feeling the energy in the eternal water bottle instantly become dozens of times stronger, Lao Wang felt distressed. I hope to deal with the hand as soon as possible. Alexandra should have a lot of good things in her hands, such as the remaining dragon bones. The dragon bones contain the power of the dragon, and are extremely valuable. If they are used for exchange, you should be able to get a lot of Azeroth's blood. In addition, you have to find a way to get some good things from SHIELD, such as those mysterious 084 items that cannot be studied thoroughly. Luden has already let go, just waiting for a good opportunity. What do you like to drink? Coffee, beer, white wine, red wine, or boiled water? Lao Wang asked. Boiled water, the three said in unison. The True Pure Society has strict rules and prohibits drinking alcohol, which can paralyze the nerves and cause unconsciousness. It also prohibits smoking and taking drugs. There are even strict requirements for sex between men and women, including but not limited to time, place, number of times, number of people, and age. Is this probably one of the real reasons for the decline of the True Pure Society? As the leader of the True Pure Society, Gunsu set an example and strictly abided by all the rules. He has been a virgin all his life and is still a lonely old man. Arika has no way to abide by it because of her beast nature. She has broken the rules 800 times, but she still has to do the surface work and resolutely refuses to drink in front of Gunsu. Matt is not a member of the True Pure Society, although because of his special identity as a blind man, he has intimate contact with at least 8,000 women, but there are really few who have sex with them, and he doesn't drink alcohol if he can. Then let's have a guotao. How can a martial artist not drink? Lao Wang took out a bottle of guotao he carried with him, opened the lid, dripped 2 drops into it, and handed it to Matt, 3 times a day, 1 drop each time, before or after meals. Arika once in the morning and evening, and the stickman once at noon. Matt exercises every day, and his physical fitness is basically at the athlete level. Erika is similar to Matt, but she was abused by the beast for a day and a night, so she is temporarily a little worse. The stickman is old, his physical fitness is not good, and he can't take supplements. Matt took the guotao and wondered why it felt like taking medicine. The stickman was very excited, thinking, could this be Kunlun's medicinal wine, the kind that assists in martial arts and Kigen training? Every night, I will take time to come here and teach you the art of guiding, help you read your meridians, and guide you to cultivate your own ki. You should write down this number in the house number. If you have any questions, go to Robbie for help. He can drive away the beast. The beast feeds on primitive desires and sins. The spirit of vengeance is the nemesis of the beast. Of course, the reverse is also true. Whoever is stronger will restrain the other. They are natural enemies. The beast has not yet successfully descended, but the spirit of vengeance has been in Robbie's body for a while. Even if the beast successfully possesses Erika, it will not be Robbie's opponent in a short time, no matter which battlefield. So don't worry. Lao Wang gave a few instructions and stood up. Don't go out recently. Order tequila it for meals. Take the time to familiarize yourself with the equipment given to you, and use the rest of the time to practice and cultivate the ki as soon as possible. The decisive battle with the hand is coming soon. Don't drag your feet when the time comes. The 3 people quickly agreed, and the old man with the stick said on the spot that he must fight the hand to the end. Do you have money? Lao Wang asked again. Matt was silent. As a student who has not yet graduated, with no parents, it is not easy to support myself. Although my father left me a sum of money for gambling, it has basically been used up after so many years of schooling. I'm very poor. The old man pursed his lips. The True Pure Society used to be very rich, but it has been getting worse and worse over the years. Now there are only me and Erika left in the whole New York, and life is not easy. Only Erika nodded. I have money. She is really rich. The old man taught her for a period of time, and through some connections, he sent her to a Greek ambassador to the United States and she became the ambassador's daughter. A few years ago, the ambassador was assassinated, and as the only heir, she instantly became a big shot. In the past few years, she has been investing, and has shares in more than a dozen large companies such as Stark Industries, Hammer Industries, Pine Technologies, and Roxxon Corporation. She can't enter the rich list, but she is indeed a billionaire. In fact, the operation of the True Pure Society in the past few years has been supported by her money. That's good. Lao Wang breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, I have a subordinate who is not so poor. If they were all money losing people like Robbie, life would be unbearable. Lao Wang would have to consider whether to disband and go back to his own home. Thanks to Guan Fengan and book friends 20180204102938660 for the 100 reward. Chapter 81 Alexandra's Plan. In a high-end villa in Manhattan, Alexandra enjoyed a delicious breakfast as usual. Unlike Mrs. Gao, she has always maintained her love for the world, enjoying every day of her long life, and while squandering time, she enjoys every beauty of the prosperous world, delicious food, beautiful scenery, beautiful music, and wonderful men. She enjoys all the beauty in this world, but it is never enough. The appearance of the immortal Iron Fist and the Ghost Rider made her mood worse than ever before. Fortunately, there was something to be happy about in this not too bad morning. "Madam, Mr. Murakami is here." The butler in leather shoes was respectful and well-mannered. "Let him in." Alexandra put down her knife and fork, adjusted her dress, and slowly stood up. As noble and elegant as usual. The door opened, and a young and strong Japanese walked in. "Old friend, how long have we not seen each other?" Alexandra asked with a smile. 50 or 60 years. If it's not necessary, we won't meet at all. Just like before the First World War, my supreme and fearless leader, Lady Alexandra. Murakami handed the coat to the butler, as natural as if he were at home, moved his arms, and smiled. "Are you sure this meeting is important? You seem very weak, much weaker than I thought. How long can you live?" Alexandra did not answer immediately. For so many years, she and her companions have been avoiding fighting, because their strength comes from the dragon bones, not the energy of life itself. Every bit of consumption cannot be replenished, and every battle will accelerate the aging of the body and the failure of organs. Once the strength is exhausted, they will die. They will complete the aging that others need to go through decades in a few minutes or even seconds. In Taoist terms, it is the 5 declines of heaven and man. And now, she is almost to that day. I may only be able to hold on for a few years, but if I die, how long can you hold on? Alexandra sat elegantly on the stool and looked at Murakami. "The last bit of dragon bone is in my hands. It's what I deserve, and what I have saved over the years. Madame Gao is the oldest among us. She got the dragon bone when she was over 100 years old. Even if she avoids fighting as much as possible, her consumption is faster than ours. Suao and Botu, and you like killing and fighting. Although you are all younger than me, your consumption is greater than mine. The dragon bone was taken away by the 5 of us from Kunlun. It is a shared resource. The last resource does not belong to you, but to everyone." Murakami glanced at Alexandra and said unceremoniously, "I think Botu and Sualanda will agree with this. They are here too, aren't they?" Alexandra smiled slightly, obviously not afraid of Murakami's threat. "You all came, not because I'm your leader, but because you are all scared. Madame Gao's death scared you. Although this generation of Immortal Iron Fist is not as powerful as our generation back then, we don't have dragon bones, and our strength is far less than before. We can't fight him at all. So." Murakami raised his eyebrows. "So as I said before, we need to rely on other forces, even the most terrible and uncontrollable forces." Alexandra picked up the remote control and pressed it. The home theater turned on, and a news report appeared. A family of 7 was brutally killed on a farm in eastern Missouri. The murderer was actually a 14-year-old boy. This newspaper, the scene at the scene was shocking. More than 10 police officers wretched, and reporters didn't dare to get close at all. An unnamed police officer claimed that this was the most disgusting crime scene he had seen in his 23 years as a police officer. No doubt about it. The victim's organs were missing, and there were scratches and bite marks on his body. All the poultry and livestock died, and the only surviving female dog was terrified. The sporadic pictures were blurred, but the disgusting scene and the cruelty of the murderer could still be seen. But Murakami was obviously used to it, frowning slightly. "The murderer is Black Sky? The beast has arrived?" Alexandra nodded. "Judging from the situation at the scene, the beast has completely controlled the little boy's mental will. Continuous killing has allowed its power to continue to descend upon this world. It is very strong now, but it has attracted the attention of the police station, SHIELD, and even Hydra. It needs our help now, and we also need its power." Murakami pinched his brows. "We can summon it and help it descend more power into this world, but we can't control it." A sneer flashed across Alexandra's face. "Except for Madame Gao, I'm the one who is most opposed to its arrival, and you are the one who supports it the most. Murakami, are you afraid? Only the beast can defeat, or even kill the Immortal Iron Fist." "Afraid? Madam, you know me, would I be afraid? Don't provoke me. I just don't want us to be killed by the beast before we return to Kunlun." Murakami stared at the TV screen and said in a deep voice, "Madam, you are willing to take risks. It seems that you really don't have much time. Have you made all the arrangements?" Alexandra nodded. "Wilson Fisk has someone in the police station who is trying to conceal the traces of the beast. My people will take it over soon, and then I will give it the remaining dragon bones, and preside over the ceremony for the little boy to make him stronger, so that the beast will become stronger. Murakami's eyes narrowed. That is our hope of resurrection. If any of us dies after using up the last dragon bone, we will never be resurrected again. Alexandra sneered. The immortal Iron Fist is not a fool, and neither is the stick old man. As long as you chop off our heads or completely destroy our bodies, even if you capture and kill Xiaolao, we will not be able to resurrect. Murakami was silent for 2 minutes before he finally spoke. Specific plan. Alexandra smiled. Mrs. Gao, who was the most difficult to convince, died, and Murakami, who knew the beast the most and was also the most afraid of it, was convinced. This plan can be implemented. Lao Wang taught Robbie and Gabe during the day while lying on a rattan chair. He taught Matt, Erica and Gunsu while sitting on the sofa at night. He returned to the Azeroth specialty store at about 10:30 and taught Sky in the middle of the night until dawn. He originally wanted to buy a house, but the problem was that all the money was used by Sky to buy Stark Industries shares. After so many days, the stock price of Stark Industries experienced an initial cliff-like drop. With the efforts of all employees, it gradually recovered. Even if it was sold now, Lao Wang could make a lot of money. Calculating the time, the future Iron Man is expected to be born soon. As long as the news comes out, the stock price will definitely soar. He will endure the temporary pain and get comfort soon. Lao Wang certainly can't just wilt like this. He will continue to do it. Sky's truck is not suitable for living. The single apartment Lao Wang rented has only one bed. Sky doesn't want to live there. It's not good for a single man and a single woman. Lao Wang really doesn't understand. There is only one bed in the Azeroth specialty store, and they are also single men and single women. How can they live there? Is this girl still choosing her bed? If she wants to choose a bed, why not just buy another one? Why does she have to share one with me? What's more, it's a small bed of only 1.2 meters. Just like now. Lao Wang is fat and kind-hearted. He lies down on the bed, taking up most of the space. There is not much space left for Sky. Fortunately, Lao Wang has a good idea. Sky, you can sleep on the rattan chair. It's already early in the morning. Sky, who is tired, sleepy and sweaty, is about to carry Lao Wang from the bed to the rattan chair so that she can make room for a nap. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Black Widow. Master Wang, your equipment is ready. Besides, you are a special consultant for SHIELD, and you get paid more than me. You haven't been to work for a whole week. Are you embarrassed? Chapter 80 to the secret base of braised eggs. Lao Wang thought he was still very thin-skinned, and even soft beards could be pierced, much worse than most women in the world. Queen Z was so beautiful that Lao Wang finally held back and didn't do it, but it was hard for her sister and younger sister. The physique and physical strength of the High Elves really couldn't compare to the Panda people. Of course, Turalion and Ronan suffered the most. They were not only the brothers-in-law and brothers-in-law of Queen Z, but also Lao Wang's followers. Lao Wang was not the kind of person who just took money and did nothing. He thought of the people under his command. Although they had good fighting skills, their mastery of various modern equipment was far worse than that of the field agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Why not let Ludin help them practice? Sky, call them all. Lao Wang washed his face, brushed his teeth, and ate breakfast. He asked Robbie, the Ghost Rider who didn't need modern equipment at all, to watch the door. Then Sky drove the newly bought truck and took Lao Wang, Gabe, Matt, Erica, and Stixu to a farm in the suburbs according to the coordinates given by Black Widow. The short and fat farmer was busy milking the cows. When he saw such a group of people coming, he ignored them and pretended not to see them. Firestone Farm is the secret base of SHIELD, and everyone here is a SHIELD agent. Black Widow walked out of the house and leaned against the door with her arms around her chest. Master Wang, this way. SHIELD secret base. Maybe it's Ludin's secret base. Old Wang laughed. He knew very well that in this situation, Ludin didn't have many people to trust. He must be on guard against the Hydra people. Not many people must know about the secret base used for special training. Maybe besides himself, only a few secret agents on the farm and the agents who need to be trained know about it. In addition, Ludan brought himself to this place instead of SHIELD's Trident headquarters or other famous bases. He was probably protecting himself. Was he protecting himself from thieves? No. In addition to the mysterious item 084, the database that stores the most secrets in the world, the powerful connections, various high-tech equipment, the Quinjet sky carrier, the cosmic cube, Fitzsimmons and other promising scientists, I'm not interested in anything else about S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. After entering the door, Black Widow took Lao Wang to the basement, then opened a secret door, and continued to walk down. After walking dozens of steps, they finally reached the bottom. Black Widow raised her head and chest. A milky white light shot out from somewhere on the door, sweeping back and forth on the badge on her right chest, and a gentle voice sounded, "Level 7 Agent Natasha Romanoff, welcome to the Firestone base. You are authorized to become the temporary commander of the base, with second level authority and temporary supreme command." The heavy intelligent fireproof door opened automatically, and Lao Wang's eyes lit up. This is a secret base covering an area of more than 3,000 square meters, with various modern facilities, solid walls, air raid shelter level, and can even withstand the frontal attack of small missiles. This is just what I see in front of me. Such a base must have more than one floor. Lao Wang made a simple estimate. The construction cost and all the facilities cost added up to at least $10 million. And there are countless secret bases like this, even 10 times larger than this one. Some are in the desert, some are in the forest, some are in the mountains, and some are in the sea. There are planes, submarines, anti-aircraft artillery, all kinds of weapons and talents. Even the latest Jericho missiles may be stored in large quantities. Dog rich, really rich. Lao Wang even suspected that, if these secret bases were counted as Luden's personal property, he would probably be able to beat at least half of the members on the Forbes rich list. Unlike most rich people, what he has is not virtual wealth brought by stock prices, but real wealth. Not real money, but good things that real money can't buy. He deserves to be slaughtered. There are people in the secret base, and there are quite a few, as many as 100. There are men and women, wearing military pants on the lower body and vests on the upper body. The men have strong muscles and the women have well-developed chest muscles. Everyone was engaged in hand-to-hand combat, or practicing gun techniques with various guns. I don't know if this term is popular in this world. Muffled groans, cries of pain, and groans were heard everywhere. In short, everyone was very strong, and worked very hard. Even when they saw Lao Wang coming, they kept their eyes fixed on him, not distracted at all, and worked even harder. They are all field agents drawn from all over the country. They have gone through layers of screening, and accepted the most rigorous polygraph tests. They are absolutely trustworthy and definitely not Hydra members. They have been members of SHIELD for at least 3 years, and have a minimum level 4 authority. Black Widow made a brief introduction, then looked at Lao Wang. Master Wang, as a special consultant to SHIELD, you are allowed to have level 4 authority, and can access archival materials of the highest level 4. Others have level 3 authority. Only level 4. I heard that Captain America was level 8 when he first joined. You look down on me, Ludan. Lao Wang couldn't stand this grievance. On the surface, he looked satisfied, but in fact, he clenched his fists. Don't say I'm unprofessional. Let's start practicing now. Don't worry, I will be serious. Otherwise, what can I do if you don't pay me? SHIELD agents are not afraid of pain, right? All agents have undergone the most rigorous pain tolerance training and have experienced labor pains for up to a week. Others can start at any time. You have to follow me first. Black Widow looked at Lao Wang seriously, wondering why this lazy man suddenly became so diligent. The director gave him a lot of salary, but you are a disciple of the immortal Iron Fist. Can you not look at everything for money? She secretly despised him, and turned her head to look inside. Your equipment is waiting for you. Okay. Lao Wang felt a little regretful, but he was still looking forward to the high-tech equipment. He turned his head and said, you can start. You have taken so much money, don't be lazy. Sky rolled his eyes. Lao Wang, as soon as you stick your butt out, I know which underwear you are going to wear. Matt and Gunsu directly felt Lao Wang's emotional changes from his rare accelerated heartbeat and mourned for the group of agents who took the blame for the boiled egg. Erika's beautiful big eyes suddenly narrowed, and she instantly entered a fighting posture. Gabe was at a loss. What happened to his brothers, sisters, and grandfather? Why are they so eager to fight? Following Black Widow through 3 access control gates, 2 passages and a flight of stairs, Lao Wang finally came to the room on the lowest floor of the entire base. Before entering the room, Lao Wang heard a fierce noise. A series of professional terms rushed into Lao Wang's ears. At this moment, Lao Wang seemed to hear 500 ducks. Leo Fitz, Gemma Simmons, the youngest genius scientists in the Ministry of Science and Technology. They are responsible for manufacturing high-tech equipment for you. Black Widow was obviously having a headache and rubbed her earlobe. They are very capable, but they talk too much. Hearing these 2 familiar names, Lao Wang was slightly stunned. You really are willing to give up the stewed eggs? Chapter 83 Equipment obtained. Who is the stewed egg? Black Widow was stunned for a moment, then the director's shiny black head appeared in her mind, and then she thought of the 13 stewed eggs she ate in one go that night, and her expression was as weird as it could be. You know what? It's really like him. Master Wang, that day you dragged the stewed egg, well, dragged the director to eat stewed eggs. Was it intentional? Fitz and Simmons heard that the user's physical fitness is not worse than Captain America, and they are very interested in you, so they applied to bring the equipment here in person. Black Widow lowered her voice. If they make any excessive requests, you can refuse. Don't underestimate their curiosity. Scientists are sometimes crazy, even crazier than me. Even if scientists are crazy enough to be interested in the Hulk, they will never be as interested as you. Okay. Lao Wang smiled. I will try not to refuse. It's good to be interested. The more interested the better. As long as you are willing to follow me, I will agree to any excessive request, even if you want my essence for experiments. These days, scientists with ability are very impressive. Tony Stark, Dr. Banner, Pym Hank, and others are not only arrogant, but also adults of a certain age, mature in mind, and not easy to fool. Unlike these 2, they are at least second-rate scientists. In 2 years, they will be first-rate, and in 5 or 6 years, they will probably be top scientists. Then, they are young people who have just come of age, and have not yet stepped out of the ivory tower, and they are trainee agents who have never been on field duty. If you want to abduct them, the difficulty coefficient will be reduced by at least 3 levels. In an instant, Lao Wang thought of 7 or 8 plans. Black Widow was stunned again, not understanding what happened to Master Wang today, and why he suddenly became so easy to talk to. She had heard some of Fitz and Simmons' excessive demands, even including body tissue biopsy, body fluid sampling and analysis, deep and comprehensive testing, real-time monitoring of chip implantation, reproductive system and endocrine system evaluation, etc. Any SHIELD agent has the obligation to cooperate, but Master Wang is not a SHIELD agent, just a cooperative relationship. In fact, both the director and herself are very interested in Master Wang. If it weren't for the immortal Iron Fist and Kunlun behind him, if it weren't for the need for Kunlun, this mysterious and powerful force, as an ally, according to Luden's personality, he might really have forcibly captured Master Wang and thrown him into the laboratory. He is not a good person. He is provided with good food and drink, needles, and scalpels, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day monitoring, and at most a few beautiful women to accompany him. Luden has no bottom line. If Master Wang is really willing to cooperate, it will be a good thing for SHIELD. Maybe he can really research something good. Thank you very much. Black Widow rarely spoke to thank him, then puffed out her chest and swiped the card to open the door. 500 ducks stopped calling instantly. The first thing that came into view was 2 young figures, 1 man and 1 woman, who had just reached adulthood, about the same as Sky. Doctors of this age are still rare. There are not many in the world, not to mention that Simmons is a double doctor. Tony Stark, the future Iron Man, one of the most amazing scientists in the Earth region of the Marvel Universe, graduated from MIT at the age of 17, while Simmons, 17, already has a double doctorate in biology and chemistry. It cannot be said that Simmons is more powerful than Iron Man, but at least it shows that Simmons is really powerful. The double doctorate is Fitz's assistant, and Fitz is obviously more powerful. The two most powerful scientists of S.H.I.E.L.D. made equipment for themselves. Was the head of the boiled egg caught by the legs of the Black Widow, or shot by Hawkeye's arrow? Lao Wang was ready to poach people, but his eyes drifted to the table in the middle. There were two boxes on the table, which were already opened. In the box on the left was a short alloy stick of about 20 centimeters, two of which were actually golden, and the others were red. The surface was not smooth, but had various green reliefs, including eagle claws, deer antlers, tiger paws, and scales similar to snakes. Could it be a dragon? Not a 5-clawed golden dragon, but a 5-clawed green dragon? I'm really not a green dragon. Lao Wang complained in his heart, and looked at another box. There were two gold and red alloy boxing gloves in the box. The sharp and gleaming retractable claws, the decorative dragon patterns on the surface, the delicate movable joints. Everything looked very beautiful, high-end and classy. Good stuff. Not to mention the specific effects. Just the appearance is much better than the engineering boxing gloves of dwarves and goblins. When Fitz and Simmons saw Lao Wang coming, their eyes lit up immediately, realizing that this was the user of the titanium alloy stick and titanium alloy boxing gloves, and they quickly introduced him. I consulted Agent Medi for the color matching and surface relief. In China, gold represents nobility, red represents jubilation, and the Chinese call themselves descendants of the dragon. Cyan represents endless life, and Ki is the energy of life itself, which is a perfect match. It uses high-power laser engraving and 3D printing technology. It took Simmons and I a whole week to complete the design. The design drawings were revised 10 times. The best technical team of the Ministry of Science and Technology is responsible for manufacturing. Agent Romanov's equipment is also made by them. There was a lot of chatter, many professional terms that Lao Wang couldn't understand, a common problem among scientists. The rest was not important. Lao Wang was only concerned about 2 sentences. One sentence was said by Simmons, who mentioned the total cost of the gloves and stick, a number that could buy a house in the second ring of BJ. The other sentence was said by Fitz, who regretted that, if the budget was not tight and the director did not allow it, it would actually be better to use gold titanium alloy throughout the body, but the cost would be several times higher. Ludan, I will remember you. Don't move. Here's this. Simmons came over, stood on tiptoe, and implanted a very tiny chip into Lao Wang's lower lip. He nodded with satisfaction and said, "This is the latest macro receiving controller, a combination of engineering and biology. It automatically connects to your nerve endings, voice controlled, transmitted through muscles and bones, safe, efficient and secret. Try it." Lao Wang has lived 3 lives, so he still has some IQ. In addition, he has come into contact with too many high-tech equipment of goblins and dwarves in this life. He has experience with this kind of strange equipment and can get started quickly. It's really easy to use. The 9 sticks are connected together and the internal mechanism automatically fits together. They can be disassembled as needed. If necessary, as long as you move your lips, the internal part will release a short, thick and hard gold titanium alloy chain to turn it into a 9-section whip. You can even launch one or several sections, and they can fly back and discharge electricity. Of course, Lao Wang's favorite is a stick form, which is about 180 centimeters, slightly taller than the eyebrow high stick. Anyway, Lao Wang is still in the growth period, so it will be more suitable in the future. The most important thing is that the 2 sides are gold and the middle is red, and the oriental blue dragon relief on the whole body is very impressive. No matter how you look at it, it has a sense of deja vu of the golden hoop. Agent Melinda May, who is responsible for the appearance design, is also a fan of the Monkey King, right? The gloves are also easy to use. These 2 pieces of equipment are technically comparable to the epic equipment of dwarf engineering, but the materials are a bit worse. Whether it is titanium alloy or gold titanium alloy, it is obviously not as good as the mithril and adamantium produced in World of Warcraft, not to mention thorium and orchimby. When there is blood in the future, it is better to get some good materials from World of Warcraft, and then let Fitz and Simmons study and design. Maybe it will be more awesome than Captain America's vibranium shield. Ding. Suddenly, Black Widow frowned. The voice of the former head of the base came from the headset. Agent Romanov, the instructor and the trainee are fighting. It's serious. Serious? Black Widow raised her eyebrows. Being trained by a group of foreign instructors, those elite agents who have received the most rigorous training, will definitely not accept it. It is normal to challenge, and it is also a good thing. No fight, no acquaintance. It can also deepen the understanding of each other between instructors and students, which is good for future teaching. The problem is very serious. Could it be that 100 elite agents beat up Master Wang's apprentices? No, I have to go and see. Sorry, I have something else to do. You continue. Black Widow decided to deal with it first, and then tell Master Wang, so that Master Wang would not be unhappy when he saw the miserable situation. As soon as she left, Lao Wang looked at Simmons and sighed with a smile. Good stuff. Just this stick. The cost is higher than my 2-year salary. It's a pity that it's not free. I have to bleed a lot. Simmons was stunned and blurted out, 2 years. It's equivalent to my 10-year salary. Hearing this, Lao Wang laughed. P.S. The update time should still be stable. In the future, there will be one update at 8 AM and 8 PM, starting from tonight. Chapter 84. 5 instructors, who will teach me, because she was worried that the agents would beat up Master Wang's apprentice, and it would end badly. Black Widow bent over and twisted her body, sprinted to the training ground at the speed of a 100-meter sprint, and braked suddenly. Then she was stunned. What was going on? In the huge training ground, there were only 5 people standing, and the others all fell down, and they were all SHIELD agents. Almost 1/3 of them were, because their arms and legs were removed and dislocated, and they couldn't put them back. They stared at the 5 standing people, and their eyes were full of resentment, hatred, and unwillingness. Another 1/3 were simply unable to bear the beating. Although they struggled to get up, Gabriel, who looked the youngest, was a good junior high school student. Such a simple boy. How could he run around on the field and kick anyone who wanted to get up? You said your hands and feet were shaking, and your whole body was shaking, so why did you kick so hard? The force was so great that it hurt for a long time after a kick. Young people don't know how to control the severity of their attacks, and his accuracy was obviously not good enough. Sometimes he couldn't hit the vital point, and he had to do it several times. It was painful just to watch. Sometimes he really hit the vital point, and it was not only painful, but also so painful that he couldn't scream, and even fainted, and maybe the sexual happiness of the rest of his life would be ruined. Fortunately, he became more and more skilled in kicking, and his legs didn't shake at the end. His accuracy was also good enough. He kicked one accurately, and one person fainted after each kick. It would probably take less than a minute for everyone to faint. The last third was even worse, and they fainted directly. Could it be that this underage boy did it? As for the other 4, Erica, wearing a red tights and long flowing hair, was sweating all over her body. Her breathing was a little heavy, and there was a fierce light in her eyes. It was obvious that she had just experienced a fierce battle. Could she be the murderer who defeated these elite field agents? Sky stood against the wall with her chest in her arms, as if this matter had nothing to do with her. When she saw him looking over, she shrugged innocently. The old man with a stick stood on the other side. He was leaning on a cane, breathing evenly, and nodded at her with a smile. He was quite kind. Matt stood not far from Erica, silent. So, what happened? Tell me, what's the situation? Black Widow looked at one of the 30-year-old fat guys with a flat head. His name was Eric Koenig. He was a secret agent that Luden had transferred from somewhere. He had never seen him, or even heard of him. He had a level 6 clearance, and should be the director's confidant secretly developed. Among the hundreds of agents, almost half were secret agents, and he had the highest clearance. Of course, this was not the reason why Black Widow asked him instead of others. Although this fat guy also collapsed on the ground, he was obviously not injured. Could he be pretending? Where did Ludan find this funny guy? Seeing Gabe kicking the rest of the people unconscious one by one, he was the only one left, and he was the one who tipped her off before. Who else should he ask now? It's terrible. These people are terrible. The fat man with a flat head saw Black Widow coming, and he got up and hid behind Black Widow. His eyes narrowed into slits, but he didn't stare at Gabe, but at Erica who was standing farther away. His voice was trembling. At the beginning, some agents wanted to challenge the instructors. Agent Romanoff, you know, a shield is not the army. Combat training must be physical. It is common for trainees to challenge instructors, and it is normal for some people to be dissatisfied. Just teach them a lesson. Of course, it is not certain who will teach whom. Black Widow frowned. Then who did you challenge? Instructor Matt? Instructor Erica? Or Instructor Stick? The fat man shook his head quickly. We challenged 5 at once. Black Widow. This is not the way to ask for a fight. She continued to ask. Then what? The fat man replied. Then that woman stood up and said that she was enough and she could beat 100 by herself. Black Widow raised her eyebrows. Then, these field agents are all elite. Even if Captain America is resurrected, it is not easy for one to beat 100. Girl, do you think you are the immortal Iron Fist? Black Widow calculated and felt that if she was in a spacious area, relying on her flexible skills and super endurance, in the case of hand-to-hand combat, she might really be able to kill 100 of them. After all, although these agents are elite, none of them are at the level of Melinda and Wood. Master Wang's hand-to-hand combat strength is about the same as hers. His apprentice should not be able to fight 100, especially in such a limited space. The fat man hesitated for a moment, and then replied embarrassedly, 100 against 1, we don't have the face, so we decided to fight 100 against 5. Black Widow didn't know what to say. 100 against 1 is shameless, but fighting 5 is? Then what? She asked. Logically speaking, even if 100 against 5, they should be able to win. Let's not talk about anything else. Gabe is just an ordinary junior high school student. Although Sky has studied with Master Wang for 3 years, according to the information collected from various sources, his strength is probably not even as good as that of an ordinary field agent. Then there is a woman and 2 blind people, one of whom is in his 60s or 70s. These 3 people were almost killed by dozens of ninjas before, and it was the immortal Iron Fist who saved them. Strength? Although not weak, if they really fight, the 3 of them combined can't beat me, right? Then, that's what you see now. The little fat man hit back again, pointing helplessly at Sky and Gabe and said, the 2 of them didn't make a move. In fact, we fought 100 people against 3, but we all fell. She is so terrible. The little fat man stared at Erica and said very clearly, it's not strong, it's terrible. Strong is one thing, terrible is another. The 2 blind people should actually be stronger than the woman, which can be seen from the battle that lasted less than 5 minutes. But they are different. The young blind man was very gentle, fearing that he would hurt the agents. He was the one who cut off 1/3 of the agents' arms and legs. In fact, it was a kind of protection for the agents. The old blind man was very heavy-handed. He knocked them out one by one with his cane. In fact, he was very measured. He only knocked them out without hurting anyone. It was also a kind of protection for the agents. After all, if they were unconscious, they would not have to be beaten again. But the woman was different. She seemed to enjoy fighting. She did not attack the vital parts at all, nor did she knock others out. Although she was not stupid enough to fight head-on, her performance was really crazy. She did not look like a human at all, but a beast, a king of beasts surviving in the wilderness. Those agents who did not faint, did not have their arms and legs cut off, and were covered with injuries were all done by her. If it were not for the other woman who had not been fighting all the time, and asked the junior high school student who also did not fight to knock out the injured agents with a stick, the woman in the red tights would definitely not stop. The fat man even suspected that someone would die. It was just a challenge. Is that so? Black Widow was silent for a moment. Her eyes looked back and forth at Sky and the other 5, feeling their heartbeats and breathing, and suddenly asked, Erica, have you cultivated the key? Erica finished the battle. The madness in her eyes slowly faded, and she said, I cultivated the key yesterday. Black Widow nodded, feeling a little envious, and looked at the old man with a stick. What about you? 3 days ago. The old man with a stick answered. Black Widow was even more envious, and looked at Matt. 4 days ago. Matt answered. Black Widow even began to feel jealous, and looked at Sky. A week ago. Sky was a little ashamed. It took him 3 years to cultivate the true key, which embarrassed Lao Wang. Black Widow didn't know what to say and turned to look at Gabe. You didn't cultivate the key half a month ago, did you? Gabe blushed when he heard this, lowered his head and whispered, I haven't. Black Widow exhaled softly. Fortunately, he didn't. Otherwise, she felt that she would go crazy. Matt, Erica, and Gunsu should be from Kunlun. Sky has been studying with Master Wang for 3 years, so it is understandable that he has cultivated ki. Gabe has only been studying with Master Wang for a month. If he can also cultivate ki, it would be too scary. You may not know that there are actually 101 agents receiving special training this time, and the 101st is me. Black Widow clenched her fists and glanced at the 5 people, 5 instructors, who will teach me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 85. Let's change jobs. The room at the bottom floor. How much is your annual salary? Lao Wang looked at Fitz and Simmons and showed curiosity. I don't know much about the salary level of government agencies. It just so happens that I have recently recruited a lot of employees, including a few scientists. I don't know how much salary I should pay. Can you tell me and give me a reference? This is actually true. Sky is a family member and she doesn't pay her salary. The money is all managed by her and she can spend it at will. It is more reliable to pay her salary than to pay myself. Needless to say, the old man with the whole true pure society, 2 people, came to him, and he is old, has no children, no wife, and Matt takes care of him in his old age. Erica has no parents, a car, a house, and is a rich woman. She doesn't care about this. But Matt, Robbie, Gabe and others still have to pay salaries, and this is not discussed. Lucy, Ellie and other scientists actually have families and children. They will find an opportunity to ask S.H.I.E.L.D. to help solve their identity problems, and they also need salaries to support their families and have children. How much should they pay? Lao Wang really doesn't know. I only know that the salaries are not low. Ellie later joined the Power New Energy Laboratory to work as an engineer. His salary was the lowest among all the people, but he could still afford a Dodge Charger. Private companies are indeed more generous than government agencies. Simmons and Fitz looked at each other. This man looked quite young, and he actually had scientists under him, and there were quite a few of them. Could he be the heir of a big company? No wonder he was so white and fat. As for the annual salary, after looking around and making sure that there were no monitors or eavesdroppers in this small room, Simmons said a number that was not small for ordinary people. So little? I was going to give those scientists 10 times the amount you said, but I still think it's too little. Lao Wang was shocked instantly. This number was indeed much lower than Ella's previous salary, but Ellie was only qualified to be Fitz's shoe holder. What about the field agents? I heard that you have the operations department and the technology department in SHIELD. Which department has a higher salary? Fitz swallowed 10 times. Simmons obviously knew a lot about this. He didn't even need to think about it. He answered directly. The basic salary of SHIELD is based on the government salary standard. Generally speaking, the 2 departments are similar. However, every time a field agent performs a mission, he will receive an additional subsidy. Well, the subsidy is usually more than the salary. The last sentence seemed to be a little resentful. Lao Wang nodded, expressing his agreement. I always feel that it is still too low. No matter how poor you are, you can't be poor in science, and no matter how hard you are, you can't make experts suffer. With this little salary, when can you buy a house and a car? Do you have a house and a car? No. Fitz shook his head. Simmons said, in fact, salary is not important. I joined SHIELD in the hope of getting answers to thousands of scientific questions. I have had many questions since I was a child. Elementary school, middle school, college, master's degree, doctorate. My teacher couldn't give me the answer. Later, the director of the science and technology department of SHIELD found me and told me that I could find the answer here, so I came. Fitz nodded quickly. I'm about the same. 2 pure scientists. Scientists who have not been contaminated by reality. Lao Wang made an evaluation in his heart. Fitz seemed a little moved, but Simmons had no reaction at all. Was it because her family was too wealthy, or because her heart was devoted to science? Plan A obviously didn't work, so Lao Wang switched to plan B. Did you find it? I found some, but not some. Simmons frowned and looked distressed. Fitz and I studied at the Shield Academy for a year. In fact, almost 3 months ago, we found that no one could answer our questions, not even the best teachers. So we applied to graduate and enter the Ministry of Science and Technology, where there are better scientists, first-class scientists. I don't have this worry, the worry of a top student. Lao Wang didn't know whether to be happy or to laugh at himself, and then asked, can the scientists in the Ministry of Science and Technology answer your questions? Some can, and some can't. Simmons thought for a while, and said with some regret, the Ministry of Science and Technology actually doesn't have the top scientists. The best scientists are hired by private companies, or they set up their own companies, such as Mr. Tony Stark and Mr. Pym Hank. Fitz interrupted, but SHIELD has more scientists and more opportunities to research different projects. In this regard, it's better than Stark Industries or Pym Technologies. For example, we are now researching a species called Azer. Fitz? Simmons suddenly interrupted him. This is confidential. Fitz immediately covered his mouth. Azeroth's signature essence wine? Lao Wang's eyes lit up. Are you responsible for researching the essence wine? We call it Azeroth Essence. Fitz and Simmons looked at each other again, and said in unison, how did you know? This is confidential, and only a very few people in the entire Ministry of Science and Technology know about it. Lao Wang reached into his trouser pocket and the eternal water bottle appeared. He shook it in front of the two and blinked, because this thing is what I gave to SHIELD. 10 minutes later. Training ground. Black Widow gasped, and finally breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Erica getting up from the ground. She didn't embarrass SHIELD. She won. Originally, she wanted to have a 1-on-5 match in the ring, to boost the morale of these agents, but on the one hand, these agents were basically unconscious and couldn't see, and on the other hand, it was so difficult to beat Erica alone, and there were 4 waiting. If they failed in the end, wouldn't the morale be even lower? Forget it. Just as she was looking for a step to go down, she suddenly heard a burst of applause. Pa pa pa. Lao Wang came over from not far away, and praised them without hiding his words. Great. So beautiful. 2 women fought against each other. Both were fighting masters. One had just cultivated ki, and the other had undergone body transformation. Although Black Widow was slightly stronger, Erica was not much worse, which was really pleasing to the eyes. Fitz and Simmons followed behind, each carrying a box like a younger brother or sister. Master Wang. Black Widow secretly breathed a sigh of relief, glanced at Fitz and Simmons, and looked at Lao Wang. Are you satisfied with the weapons? Very satisfied. Fitz and Simmons are amazing. Lao Wang gave a thumbs up and praised, and said, training is not a matter of 1 or 2 days. Next, they will stay here, to help your agents train fighting skills. I hope you can also help them get familiar with high-tech equipment. Yes. Black Widow nodded. I have something to do in the store. I'll leave first. Lao Wang felt a little guilty, waved his sleeves, picked up the box from Fitz and Simmons, and turned to leave. Why does this guy feel like he has done something bad? Black Widow thought. Someone outside will naturally escort Master Wang away, and she doesn't care. In the next period of time, she will also receive training to prepare for future operations, whether it is against the Hand or Hydra. Fitz and Simmons were borrowed by a special car. The two were silent all the way. It was not until they returned to their residence that Simmons finally asked, Fitz, Mr. Wang said that, if I go to his laboratory, I can have as much Azeroth essence as I want for research. Do you think it's true? Fitz didn't know what he was thinking, and was a little dazed. He also said that his laboratory is conducting the world's most high-end and upscale quantum mechanics research, such as quantum communications, quantum computers, and even quantum brains. Simmons. Mr. Wang also said that if I go, he will even allow me to study his body. The body of a kung fu master must be different from that of an ordinary person. The motor system, respiratory system, immune system, and reproductive system are different. Maybe there is no reproductive isolation. Fitz, his laboratory is also researching the most cutting-edge virtual technology. Relying on quantum computers, it can realize billions of people online at the same time, perfectly simulating the real world. It is also preparing to develop virtual games, World of Warcraft or StarCraft. The two of them talked for a long time, and suddenly their eyes met, and they said in unison, Fitz, Simmons, let's change jobs. Chapter 86, Final Battle with the Hand. 3 days later. The fists and sticks are really good stuff, with too many functions. As one of the most famous weapon masters in World of Warcraft, Lao Wang has been familiar with them for the past 3 days. He finally figured out how to use the sticks, gunheads, embedded ropes, 9-section whips, electric shocks, etc. in different occasions. He admired Fitz and Simmons even more. Those two young scientists are really not to be underestimated. Even in World of Warcraft, they can beat most dwarf engineers and goblin engineers. How can such people be wasted in SHIELD? The world's academic god, fall into my trap. Just thinking about it, the phone rang suddenly. Ludan, it's rare. Why does he want to talk to me? Ludan is very busy. The director of SHIELD and the US general. How can he have the time to chat with an ordinary person like him? The person who was responsible for contacting him was Carlson at first, and now it's Black Widow. How come he has time? Ludan is bored and wants to grab the position of village chief of Marvel Novice Village? Answer the call. A roar of suppressed anger almost pierced Lao Wang's eardrum. Tell me, why did Fitz and Simmons resign? Lao Wang was stunned. Resigned so soon? Young people nowadays are quite courageous. I didn't dare to resign even with a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan at that time. Resignation is good. You can come to me if you resign. Of course, this cannot be said. Lao Wang shrugged and pretended to be relaxed. Your subordinates resigned. How would I know why? Was it because of suppression by the leader, or the salary was not in place, or it could not satisfy their life ideals and realize their social value? Ludan snorted heavily. He didn't care about the two students who had just applied for graduation. SHIELD is not a terrorist organization, but a formal government agency. Resignation is no problem. Just sign a confidentiality agreement. But just half an hour ago, the Minister of Science and Technology personally ran to the office with 2 resignation reports, saying that these 2 people must not be let go, because they are the future of SHIELD and the pillars after Ant-Man. Only then did he know how awesome these 2 people are. But the problem is that they really don't want to do it anymore, and they can't get a salary increase or a promotion. Think about it carefully. The 2 who had no reason to resign, the only thing that happened in these days was contact with Master Wang. They must have been fooled by Master Wang. Let me think about it. What do you want 2 scientists for? Ludan pressed his hands on the desk and thought carefully for 2 seconds. You want to study the essence swine? You want them to make high-tech equipment for you? No, you want them to study the Dark Book. The Dark Book is in your hands, and Kunlun has cooperation with Ghost Rider? Lao Wang was slightly surprised. Ludan is really not stupid. This is really one of my goals. Tell me, what conditions can make them come to me? Lao Wang didn't want to argue and asked directly. Since Ludan called instead of directly refusing, it is obvious that he wants to negotiate conditions. In the eyes of people like him, let alone scientists, even if it is the cosmic cube, as long as the benefits are enough or the threat is big enough, he will give it to people. In Avengers 1, didn't Thor take the cosmic cube away in the end? I want the research results. Ludan was well prepared, and said in a deep voice, share the research results of the Dark Book. Lao Wang smiled and said, okay, I will share the research results of the Dark Book, and you will share the research results of the Cosmic Cube. How about that? Or let's just exchange them. You take the Cosmic Cube, and exchange it for my Dark Book. I don't want Fitz and Simmons anymore. How about that? Anyway, we have been researching for almost a century, but there is no result, right? Ludan's face turned black. Master Wang actually knew that the Cosmic Cube was in the hands of SHIELD. Well, although the Cosmic Cube is top secret, it has been more than 60 years, and there are too many people who have come into contact with the Cosmic Cube. In particular, the researchers have been replaced countless times, and there are still hundreds of people in charge of research. It is normal for the news to leak out. Hydra must have known about it a long time ago. It is normal for Master Wang or Kunlun to know. No matter how good the Dark Book is, it is not as good as the Cosmic Cube. Luden was about to make other requests, but he heard a messy voice coming from the phone. What happened? There's an earthquake. Lao Wang felt the whole store shaking and quickly used his key to stabilize the shelves so that so many fragile drinks were not scrapped. However, the shaking only lasted for a short time, and it was not very violent. This was not a natural earthquake, but a man-made one. Lao Wang looked at a certain building in the north, and his panda eyes narrowed into a line. Director Fury, the hand has taken action. Let your people come over. The decisive battle has begun. Luden's heart moved, and he remembered some information about the hand. I want the hand's resurrection coffin, and the last remaining dragon bones. All for you. I want to see Fitz and Simmons tomorrow. Lao Wang hung up the phone, opened the box, and took out the titanium alloy stick and titanium alloy gloves. He had a hunch. The first hard battle in this world has begun. A certain building in Manhattan, deep underground. After the violent explosion, Alexandra looked at the stone wall after the dust had dispersed, and she was in a bad mood. It still failed. This is not a stone wall, but a door. A door sealed by a certain iron fist, behind which is a complete fossilized dragon bone. Even an explosion powerful enough to cause a shallow earthquake in New York could not blow open this door, and it is impossible to dig it open. The power of the Iron Fist completely seals the entire area, and this seal can only be opened by the Iron Fist. The power of all Iron Fists comes from Xiaolao, exactly the same, and any Iron Fist will do, no matter how strong or weak, such as the current one. Everyone get ready, the immortal Iron Fist will definitely come. Alexandra ordered, and then looked in a certain direction. A boy of 14 or 15 stood there, looking very calm, but there was an evil god hidden in his body. Looking at him, Alexandra secretly cheered herself up in her heart. This time it will definitely succeed. I will definitely continue to live, and live forever. It's right there. The black sports car stopped suddenly. Black Widow looked at the skyscraper 100 meters away, and said in a low voice, the epicenter is there. Are all aspects ready? Voices came from the headset. I'm Eric Koenig. I have contacted the police station and relevant departments to start evacuating the people. I'm Patton. Snipers are in place and can shoot at any time. The reconnaissance team is in place. It is found that the enemy has grenade launchers and individual rocket launchers. It is suspected that there are a large number of explosives hidden in the building, threatening the safety of everyone in the building. It is recommended not to attack by force. I'm Sky. I have hacked into the building's monitoring system. The special operations team listens to my command. Hearing the last sentence, Black Widow said, Agent Patton, the outside is up to you. The special operations team listens to Sky's command. Enter the building. It is necessary to listen. Except for herself, the special operations team is all Master Wang's people. Master Wang appointed Sky to command. Who dares not to listen? Old Wang soon came to the building not far away, and Sky's voice came from the embedded receiving controller on his lower lip. Wang, I will help you change the communication frequency band. Okay, now it's a unified frequency band. Everyone listen to me. Agent Romanov, I will guide you to find all the explosives, and your mission is to ensure that these explosives are not detonated. Matt, Erica, and Stickman, your mission is to eliminate the members of the Hand in the building and ensure the safety of innocent people as much as possible. Wang, there is only one person in the underground area. You have to face the four fingers of the Hand and Black Sky. Is that okay? Old Wang moved his hands a few times and smiled. Tell me, where to go in? Sky was silent for 2 seconds. Sewer. Thanks to ZON882 for the 100 rewards. For the plot related to the Hand, those who are interested can watch the TV series of the Defenders, including Iron Fist and Daredevil. Chapter 87 Powerful Titanium Alloy Equipment. Drilling into the sewer is a very difficult task, and the most difficult thing is the disgusting smell. For the panda people who regard food as life, the disgusting smell is simply the unbearable stench of life. Not to mention Lao Wang, a panda gourmet who has completed the World of Warcraft on the tip of the tongue achievement. He regretted a little. Why didn't he ask S.H.I.E.L.D. to give him a gas mask? Now he can only hold his breath. With the ability to swim in the endless sea back then, it is not a problem to hold on for a few hours. S.H.I.E.L.D. has already scanned the entire building and made a 3-dimensional model. Sky stayed at the Firestone base of Ludan, using the server-level computer provided by Ludan to receive the controller positioning, determine his real-time position, and provide guidance. In less than 10 minutes, Lao Wang drilled into the underground parking lot of the building. With strong enough hearing, he could hear the faint gunshots from above, and it was obvious that there had been an exchange of fire. The other members of the special operations team kept reporting the situation. Black Widow was progressing smoothly, and Gunsu and the others did not encounter much trouble. Matt's strong perception ability allowed him to detect any danger and any enemy in advance. This operation is too dangerous. The Hand has mobilized almost all its elite forces, including all the weapons that can be bought on the market and transported to New York, such as large quantities of guns and bombs produced by Hammer Industries. The battle is not only on the ground, but also in the sky. The Hand is a powerful organization with money and power. It has mobilized more than one helicopter, each equipped with machine guns and bombs. The police cannot be trusted. Wilson Fisk, the future kingpin, has almost completely controlled the entire New York Police Department. It is good enough not to cause trouble. The strength and power of the Hand are by no means as weak as shown in TV dramas with limited investment. No one knows how many business giants, government officials, police and military high-ranking officials the organization has secretly manipulated for thousands of years. It is unknown how many of those well-trained elite S.H.I.E.L.D. agents will die. Even Black Widow cannot guarantee absolute safety, so Lao Wang did not let Gabe participate, and nominally did not let Robbie participate of course. In fact, Robbie has already arrived nearby, and is ready to join the battle at any time under the command of Sky. As for the underground area, the secrets hidden there cannot be known to others for the time being, including S.H.I.E.L.D. Especially S.H.I.E.L.D. The dragon bone fossils are an absolute secret even in the Hand. Only 5 Fingers and a few trusted subordinates know what the wall is, and what is behind it. S.H.I.E.L.D. can't know, and neither can Hydra. Suddenly, Lao Wang's heart moved, and he heard faint footsteps coming from afar. Lao Wang was once the best scout of the 7th Legion and the only assassin with a 100% success rate in Ravenholt Manor. He was agile and although overweight, his footsteps were lighter than a cat. He didn't make any sound that could be heard by human ears. He stepped on the snow without leaving any traces and landed silently. He approached quietly and attacked brazenly. The sharp claws cut the throat. A handful of blood spurted out. 2 people died. The Hand has deployed the most elite personnel in the underground area, including 4 Fingers. This is an open conspiracy. This building has too many explosives, too many gangsters and arms. The Hand wants to use the entire building and the lives of tens of thousands of people in the entire area as bait to lure the immortal Iron Fist here. There are 2 purposes. First, to induce or coerce the immortal Iron Fist to open the seal of a certain Iron Fist so as to obtain a complete dragon bone fossil. If the Iron Fist does not know the existence of the seal, it is easy to be induced to break the seal. If he knows, the Iron Fist will be tied up and more likely to be dealt with, caught, and killed. As a traitor to Kunlun, the 5 Fingers may even have a way to deprive the Iron Fist of his power. Alexandra and the other 3 may have the intention of becoming the Iron Fist. Their ultimate goal is not to survive, not to commit endless crimes, but to go home. Only the Iron Fist can open the door of Kunlun and go home. Second, through continuous killing, the beast that feeds on primitive desires and original sins will continue to grow, so that it can fight against the Iron Fist, S.H.I.E.L.D., and the government. The plot in his memory was already blurred, but Lao Wang remembered clearly what Alexandra had said. It's just a city, you will get used to seeing it fall. Destroying a city, killing tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people, is really nothing for the 5 Fingers of the Hand. In history, there were more than 1 city destroyed by the Hand, and more than 1 million people died because of them. Ordinary or elite members of the Hand can be sacrificed at any time. As long as they don't die, they can change their identities and hide for decades. As long as they get the dragon bone fossil, they have plenty of time to wait. And now what Lao Wang has to do is to make them not have to wait any longer. Never. More members of the Hand rushed over. This is a seemingly unsolvable problem. If you don't kill them, you must endure their more violent attacks. The elite members of the Hand have long been brainwashed and are not afraid of death at all. Killing them will make the beast grow stronger. That guy must be hiding somewhere, constantly devouring desires and sins, and killing is the greatest sin. But Lao Wang has a solution. There is no absolute in the world, and common sense may not be reliable. Pandas have a super strong bite force that humans can never match, but they make a living by being cute. Pandas are tall and their fighting power is no less than that of orcs. They once defeated the arrogant Mogu Empire, but because of the existence of the 7 evils, they try to avoid fighting as much as possible, and wanton killing is not allowed. When it comes to how to make the opponent lose their fighting power without killing, panda monks are definitely masters among masters. When subduing one female creature after another, as well as the male creatures behind those female creatures, Lao Wang has accumulated his own set of methods, which are more reliable than any master of binding. Enlightenment heart, quick reflexes, throat-cutting hands, diamond shock, split tendons and bones. Lao Wang quickly identified the direction of advance, used true ki to rush on the road, and tried his best to avoid the killers of the Hand. If it is really impossible to avoid them, use various methods to destroy them. Matt can remove the opponent's arms and legs, the stickman can hypnotize the opponent by physical means, and Erica can make those people unable to get up in pain. As a great monk master who is hundreds or thousands of times stronger than them, Lao Wang can break the legs of mammoths, break the skin of split-hoofed rhinos, and break the whips of wild horses and stags. What is there to fear when facing these ordinary people killers? Fitz and Simmons' design allows the gloves and sticks to release electric currents of controllable intensity, making the enemies in contact unconscious but not dead. The capillaries at the tips of the hollow claws can instantly inject cobra toxin and enrotoxin when they touch the skin. The dosage can also be adjusted, making people lose their mobility but not die. There are more than a dozen such designs. The characteristic of high technology is that the bigger and smaller it is, the more valuable it is. The SHIELD Sky Carrier is definitely much more expensive than the Quinjet. The dozens of lethal or non-lethal weapons integrated into such a small space also make this titanium alloy stick and this pair of titanium alloy gloves so expensive that it makes Luden feel distressed. Groaning and screaming in pain, Lao Wang broke through the siege and followed a vertical elevator down to the depths of the underground 40 meters below. He continued walking forward and came to a door. Chapter 88. Isn't it Iron Fist? This is a fire door. The iron door, which is more than 20 centimeters thick, can definitely withstand directional blasts of no more than a certain equivalent. It also separates the dragon bone fossil sealed by the Iron Fist from the underground area of the building into 2 worlds. You have no way to escape, Immortal Iron Fist. A standard Chinese sentence sounded, and a member of the Hand who once belonged to Madame Gao rushed towards Lao Wang and shot, shouting with a distorted face, "Come on, kill us, let us become sacrifices, let the beast come completely, and let the whole world become a killing field, a hunting ground for the beast. The entire universe will be buried with us, including Kunlun hidden outside the universe." Noisy. Lao Wang snorted, raised his left hand, raised his middle finger, pressed it down, and pointed it at the man. "Destroy the universe? Who gave you the confidence? Who gave you the courage to say this? Do you think this is a Japanese comic with a broken power system?" With the aim of the eyes and Lao Wang's order, the gold titanium alloy claws fired, scratching traces that ordinary people could not catch with the naked eye, and shot through the man's throat. Less than 2 seconds later, it flew back to its original position. This is impossible. The man covered his throat, but couldn't stop the blood from flowing. His eyes began to blur, his heart stopped beating, and he fell to the ground. Precision guidance system, another high-tech feature of titanium alloy boxing gloves. Everything is possible. If you don't believe me, ask Cleaning. Lao Wang raised his right hand and spread out his 10 fingers. 10 gold titanium alloy claws were fired. 2 seconds later, all enemies within 50 meters died. More enemies surrounded him from farther away, but it was too late. If the boxing gloves were not too small and the built-in battery capacity was not enough, far less than the arc reactor, Lao Wang could have slaughtered all the enemies here with these 10 gold titanium alloy claws alone. It's a pity that it's not Uncle Wolf's adamantium. When Tony comes back, we have to find a way to pit the arc reactor a little bit. Not too many, a few thousand will be enough. Lao Wang turned around and raised his left hand. The titanium alloy boxing gloves automatically detached, slightly deformed, and attached to the forearm. This pair of gloves is indeed a valuable item, but because it uses ordinary materials such as titanium, alloy and gold titanium alloy, instead of arcanite and krypton gold commonly used in epic equipment, it is much worse in terms of hardness, strength, and energy carrying and guidance. In fact, it is not suitable for monks. In comparison, Lao Wang prefers the hand of the deceiver looted from Kil'jaeden and the grip of Manareth treasured by the Erida twins. It's not that some skills cannot be used with titanium alloy gloves. It's just that they are worried about destroying it. In front of strong enough power and wild enough energy, titanium alloy or gold titanium alloy is as thin and fragile as printed paper. All the true energy is condensed in the left palm and slowly hit. Then at the moment when the palm touches the fire door, a force 10 times stronger than that of Mrs. Gao hits the fire door. The door lock is misplaced, the steel is deformed, the door opens. Lao Wang strolls in the garden, as if he is strolling in his own backyard, and the fire door closes automatically. Hundreds of hand members rushing over are blocked outside. Boom. At this moment, 3 grenades and 2 rockets flew towards Lao Wang, followed by the heavy machine guns and shotguns that had been set up. Hundreds and thousands of bullets were poured out. A pile of explosives exploded. The wall collapsed, and reinforced concrete buried Lao Wang underneath. Violent explosions, the sounds of machine guns and shotguns, and the sound of the wall collapsing came from the headphones, and Black Widow's heart suddenly tightened. Master Wang has fallen into the trap. I said he shouldn't be so impulsive. The hand must be prepared. Rushing forward like this is tantamount to committing suicide. Black Widow flew and scissor kicked to kill the hand ninja guarding the explosives, and whispered anxiously, Master Wang? Master Wang? How are you? Do you need support? There was no response. Her heart was in her throat. That lazy and powerful fat guy, is he dead? Killed by explosives? If he died, who will contact the immortal Iron Fist and Kunlun? SHIELD's allies are gone just like that, and my hope of cultivating Kai and becoming a kung fu master was shattered just like that. Don't worry, everything is under control. Wang said that this is the best way, the fastest way. The purpose is to prevent the people of the hand from killing more people in time, so that the beast cannot bring down more power, and so that the black sky will not become too powerful. Sky's voice trembled slightly in a calm voice. The shockwave and electromagnetic interference generated by the explosion caused the receiving controller to temporarily malfunction. Fitz and Simmons did not consider this. Bad review. Do your own thing. Don't worry about Wang. He is the king. He will definitely be fine. Sky's eyes were firm. No one knows Lao Wang better than her. If the whole world is destroyed and only one person survives, that person must be my king. Maybe one day, the Mississippi River will flow backwards, Mount Everest will collapse, the Antarctic ice sheet will melt, and the stars in the sky will fall, but the king will not die. Winter thunders roar, summer rains and snows, and the sky and the earth merge, and my king will, never, will, die. Black Widow didn't know who gave Sky the confidence. Master Wang was not Captain America or the immortal Iron Fist. How could he withstand this level of explosion and shooting? Wait. The immortal Iron Fist? Everything that happened in the past month emerged in her mind. Some causal lines that were induced and blinded by her imagination became clear after the fog dissipated. A very thin membrane was finally pierced, and the truth came out like milk. Black Widow figured out everything. Yes, you guessed it right. Wang is the Iron Fist. Sky thought of the conversation with Lao Wang and gained some confidence. He never said he was not the Iron Fist. You guessed it yourself. Agent Romanoff, you should hurry up. Don't wait until he eliminates the 4 fingers and black sky of the hand. You haven't completed your mission yet. Wang said that, after drinking so much Azeroth essence wine, his strength has been raised to a new level. It doesn't matter if some things are leaked. He has the confidence to face all dangers. Black Widow finally let go. She remembered the fat figure with his face covered at the Raxxon power plant, the blue lightning that was like a bolt from the blue, the winter soldier who was knocked away by a palm and had his mechanical arm torn off, and the iron shoulder that carried her. It seemed to be able to carry the sun and the moon, and the mountains and rivers. The fist that severely injured the Winter Soldier, wasn't it the Iron Fist? Firestone Base. Sky tapped the keyboard and switched to another independent channel. A channel with only 2 people. Robbie, have you arrived at the designated location? The plan has changed. Don't worry about those people in the hand. I know that without your help, many more SHIELD agents will die, but what does that have to do with me? The king needs your help. Spirit of Vengeance, shut up. If you dare to rebel, I will publish your information on the internet now. Let's see whether SHIELD will find you first, or Hydra, or the New York Temple, or the Supreme Sorcerer Ancient One. Somewhere outside the building, the Dodge Charger stopped on the side of the road, and the Spirit of Vengeance muttered in Robbie's mind, that damn beast absorbed a lot of power, and I may not be able to beat it. PS1, Ghost Rider's performance in Agents of SHIELD is very average, far inferior to Johnny Fire. PS2, in the comics, Ghost Rider was abused by the possessed Daredevil, and Spider-Man, Iron Fist, Wolverine and many other superheroes were also abused. PS3, I recommend a book by a good friend, Almighty Lord of Another World, a D&D type lore text, Amber Stream. The author is an old bird, and the writing is still good. Chapter 89, Soul and Body Divided, Zen Pilgrimage. The blocked word in the previous chapter was asterisk asterisk asterisk. Some friends guessed it. Give me a thumbs up. Sir, Master Wang is the immortal Iron Fist. She twisted a ninja's neck in a riding position, raised her hand, and pointed at another guy, and the widow released electricity. The current of up to 30,000 volts instantly killed the opponent. The Black Widow reported to Luden very calmly. But before she finished speaking, Luden's voice came from the headset. I know. How did you know it again? Why didn't you tell me? Black Widow didn't know what to say, and she was suffocated. But after thinking about it carefully, she understood. Luden was cunning, and from the perspective of an outsider, he was less likely to be confused by Master Wang's smoke bombs. It was nothing special to guess that Master Wang was the immortal Iron Fist. It was normal. If I hadn't been so busy recently, and if I hadn't been hit on the head by the Winter Soldier at the Raxxon power plant, which lowered my intelligence, I would have thought of it a long time ago. She quickly found a good reason for herself and asked, then what should I do? According to what you said, Agent Barton will be in charge of the outside, and you will be in charge of the inside. Luden's voice seemed very calm. You make your own judgment. You don't have to report to me, and I don't have time to listen to your report now. He didn't say what he was busy with, so there was no need for the superior to explain to his subordinates. In addition, SHIELD has strict confidentiality regulations. Every matter has a certain level of confidentiality. Except for the relevant personnel, no one else can ask about it. After hanging up the phone, Luden turned around and walked towards the conference room on the top floor, followed by Hill, who rolled his eyes. In Hill's opinion, the director probably suspected that Master Wang was the immortal Iron Fist a long time ago, but it was just a suspicion. He confirmed it after listening to Black Widow's words, but he didn't show it, maintaining the mystery and authority of the superior. This guy's not only black-faced, black-eyed, and black-coated, but the key is that his heart is black. He is so good at pretending, no wonder he can be the director of SHIELD. My face is not as thick as the director's. I need to learn it well. Hill thought he was an expert in studying boiled eggs, but now he knows that no matter how hard he studies, he can never fully understand it. Boiled eggs are a science, and it is very profound. The most profound thing is the color. Boiled eggs walked and thought. He was about to go to a meeting, the UN Security Council meeting. Several directors needed him and Hill to report separately on the current situation of SHIELD and Hydra, as well as the detailed plan to completely eliminate Hydra. Alexander Pierce, the US Secretary of Security and former director of SHIELD, was waiting in the conference room. He arranged the action against the Hand by himself, using a secret channel that did not belong to SHIELD. Except for Black Widow and Hawkeye, and the 100 agents, even Pierce and Hill did not know about it. Now he was answering the phone in front of Hill. One reason was that the action had already begun, and Hydra would soon get the news from other channels, so there was no need to hide it. Another reason was to test Hill. Even letting Black Widow and Hawkeye participate was a test in itself. He would not completely trust anyone except himself. Now it seems that Black Widow and Hawkeye, as well as the 100 carefully selected agents, are mostly trustworthy, but it's hard to say about Hill. Since the immortal Iron Fist and Kunlun are going to deal with the Hand, they have the help of Black Widow and Hawkeye, and even Ghost Rider is likely to take action, so there is no problem. When the matter of the Hand is over, with Kunlun as an ally, they will start to completely eliminate Hydra. For me and S.H.I.E.L.D., the real test has just begun. Coulson and Melinda are at the airbase in Afghanistan. Pierce, Hill, Garrett, Sitwell, Wu. Who among you is not a Hydra member? Perhaps it is, just as I don't want to believe the most. No one in S.H.I.E.L.D. can be trusted, but Master Wang, who does not belong to S.H.I.E.L.D., is more trustworthy. Fitz and Simmons are the future of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s technology department. They are young and clean, not good at disguise and performance, and you can tell at a glance that they are definitely not Hydra members. Now I take the opportunity to send them to Master Wang, which can be regarded as a kind of protection for them. I'm afraid that if they leave, they will never come back. The walls and the roof collapsed, pressing Lao Wang underneath. Those who work in construction know that the higher the floor, the deeper the foundation. This is a skyscraper, with a foundation several dozen meters deep, but the dragon bone fossil is deeper than the original building, with a 40-meter layer of soil in between. Now, the thick gravel and 40-meter layer of soil pressed Lao Wang underneath. As a result of the precise blasting, the entire door and a large wall pressed on Lao Wang, and were buried by the soil, making it airtight. There was no way to breathe. How could he not die? Lao Wang did not die. No matter how thick the wall was, it could not block the spiritual perception that had been constantly tempered for 3 lives and 3 worlds. In fact, before entering the door, Lao Wang knew the situation inside, and knew that, as long as he broke through the door, he would have to face gunfire and the roar of explosives. But there was no way. This was the only entrance. Next to the door was a thicker and stronger reinforced concrete wall, and a thick layer of soil, which made it more difficult to break through. The Hand was well prepared, and the place where the dragon bone fossil was located was indeed easy to defend and difficult to attack. Lao Wang, who was busy racing against time, had no time to hesitate, so he broke into the room and used the monk's special skill Golden Bell cover at the first opportunity. After drinking so much of the essence of the Eternal Well, Lao Wang's true ki almost recovered to 1% of the peak state of his previous life. Although there was still a big gap in quality, it was not concentrated enough, and not pure enough, but it was enough to resist heavy machine guns, shotguns, individual rockets and grenades, and it could also block the explosion of a large amount of explosives, not to mention the collapsed walls and soil. The only pity was that the implanted receiver controller seemed to have a problem, but it didn't matter. His strength was definitely not as strong as the Hulk, but with the support of true ki, he was much stronger than Captain America, who pulled a helicopter by hand, moving the wall fragments and the door to form a stable structure. Lao Wang held his breath. It was impossible for the Grand Master to suffocate to death casually, but it seemed that it was not easy to get out. It seemed. Lao Wang stopped breathing and slowed his heartbeat to the limit. This was learned from Shensin Sun and the turtle demigod Tortala, and it worked great. In this way, no matter Alexandra or anyone else, they will think that they are dead. Very good. So, what should we do? The monk has a very powerful master skill called Soul and Body Partition, which has the effect of separating the body and soul, and leaving the soul in place. The duration depends on how strong the soul is. The stronger the soul, the longer it can exist without relying on the body. In order to expand the scale of monks, Lao Wang once used the method of forcing growth to cultivate a group of adventurers. Although each of them became a monk master or even a grand master with strong combat power, the body moved too fast and the soul could not keep up. As a result, the soul and body partition can only last for 15 minutes. The most embarrassing thing is that after the soul and body partition, only the body can move, but the soul cannot. And another skill, Zen Pilgrimage, allows the soul to rely on the guidance of the Pandaria mists to instantly move to the monk's holy land Sunny Peak, but the body cannot move. So, what if the two skills are combined? Lao Wang smiled slightly. Soul out of the body. Chapter 90 Dragon Bone Seal. Or is it shielded? Well, Chapter 88 shields two words. The first is beast, the second is abuse. The thick soil separates the inside and the outside, forming a natural isolation layer. The sound from the outside is like a Wi-Fi signal separated by three walls, which has been attenuated to the extreme, and ordinary people can't hear it at all. But Lao Wang can hear it. He has heard countless bed vibrations, ship vibrations, earthquakes, air vibrations, and cloud vibrations in World of Warcraft. He has also heard similar sounds in different languages in the past 18 years. While becoming a language expert, he has already trained his ears to the point of being able to hear flowers blooming and snow falling, and being able to hear blood flowing and heartbeats. A month ago, his 5 senses, except for vision, may not be as good as Daredevil Matt, but today, a month later, under the nourishment of the young lady's essence, his skin is tenderer, whiter and smoother, and his cultivation has returned to the level of his early previous life. His 5 senses are definitely not inferior to Matt's. But since you can see it with your own eyes, why bother to use your ears through the wall? Seeing may not be true, but what you hear with your ears is more likely to be false. Most importantly, among the 6 senses of eyes is nose, tongue, body and mind. His hearing is actually the worst. Of course, the best is not eyesight. Seeing at the soul level is definitely not based on eyesight. The body is real and material, while the soul is illusory and energetic. The thick soil layer is a cage created by the explosion, and it is also the best shelter for the body. Lao Wang's soul body splitting and Zen pilgrimage are 2 skills that were originally one. In order to use them for those unpromising adventurers, he split the skills of soul out of body and soul body dual control into 2, simplifying them while also making necessary weakenings. Now the 2 are reunited, Lao Wang manipulates his true ki to protect his body from harm, while his soul is out of his body, passing through the barriers of walls and soil. See everything. Hear everything. Perceive everything. Hey, it's quite lively. Is there going to be an internal conflict? This is a large space, equivalent to a basketball court, with brackets and beams supporting the top everywhere, and 4 groups of people standing in different positions. Nearest the entrance, there were about 20 black men, holding similarly black submachine guns and shotguns, carrying individual rocket launchers or grenade launchers, blending into the environment in the dim light, as hard to identify as boiled eggs. To the left of the black men were about the same number of Japanese, dressed in black, holding Japanese swords made of fine steel in their hands, and pistols on their waists. To the right, were even more white men, dressed in white, and all holding swords. Behind them were about 50 white men, dressed in suits and leather shoes, and all holding guns. Each group had a leader, who were the 4 fingers of the hand, the dark curly-haired African warlord Sawander, the swordsmanship master Botu who always had a smile on his face, the top ninja Murakami who had a cold face in contrast to Botu, and the elegant, dignified and elegant upper-class lady Alexandra. They were far apart from each other, and were obviously on guard. And behind everyone was a wall. To be precise, it was a huge stone prison, more than 100 meters long and wide, and more than 30 meters high. The surroundings were cleared, and it looked like a huge stone cube, the largest coffin in the world. On each wall, there were intricate characters. It was a kind of pictographic writing that Lao Wang didn't recognize at all. It looked similar to the traditional Chinese characters of ancient China, similar to the most ancient oracle bone script, an abstract expression of specific things, but the specific meaning was obviously different. It was the writing of Kunlun, and even more, so the runes of Kunlun. Each rune contained a very powerful energy, a special kind of ki, that Lao Wang had never seen before, which gave ordinary runes some incredible power, similar to the inscriptions and spell runes in World of Warcraft. All the runes added up to turn this huge stone prison into a seal. A dragon bone seal. Only the power of the Iron Fist could open it. There were traces of explosions everywhere on the ground. The shallow source earthquake a few hours ago was obviously caused by the explosion. The explosion of this intensity did not cause even the slightest damage to the stone prison, so you can imagine how strong it was. Amazing. Lao Wang sighed. With a strong enough spirit, he could easily sense the powerful energy contained in the stone prison, far surpassing the panda wine fairy Lao Chen and the blood-spitting sect leader Zhu Talon. Even compared with himself at his peak, it was only 3 or 5 levels behind. More importantly, the stone prison is not independent. No matter how powerful the seal is, it will slowly weaken over time. Perhaps hundreds and thousands of years have passed, and the stone prison is still strong, because it has always been replenished with energy, from the inside, from the sealed dragon bone. The stone prison and the dragon bone form a whole. If you want to forcibly break the stone prison, you must forcibly defeat the dual power of the iron fist and the dragon bone of that generation. This is definitely not something that ordinary people and ordinary bombs can do, and even those superheroes who are not particularly powerful can never do it. With such a huge dragon bone, this dragon from Kunlun must have lived for hundreds or thousands of years. The accumulation of thousands of years is definitely not something that Danny Rand and his ilk can defeat. Or 1,000 Danas are not enough. No wonder you need an iron fist. The iron fist is a key and a password. Even if it is a key carved from wood, as long as it fits, it can open the seal. Lao Wang even has some doubts. The sealed dragon bone is most likely prepared by a certain generation of Iron Fist, or the elders of Kunlun, for the Iron Fist of the future generations. Black Sky is not here. Lao Wang looked around, and did not find another Black Sky besides Erica, the teenage boy investigated by S.H.I.E.L.D. Is he up there? Is Black Sky personally involved in the massacre? Lao Wang frowned slightly, and didn't care. 4 fingers, 4 kung fu masters who have mastered ki. Each of them has almost the power of one person, and the 4 of them are even qualified to challenge the defenders. This is nothing. The problem is that there are still more than 100 elites with swords, knives and guns. This is nothing. For the Grand Master who has recovered 1% of his true ki, it is nothing more than the difference between graduating from the Dark Temple and brushing the Death Mine alone and brushing the Scarlet Monastery alone. There is only one enemy that really scares him, Black Sky. In the TV series, Black Sky Erica, who has just been resurrected, beat the defenders alone, and the weakest Iron Fist is no match at all. However, Khan was not there. Lao Wang thought seriously for 2 seconds, floated behind a black man, and blew gently. With 2 circles of chains wrapped around his body, Robbie followed Sky's instructions, and walked alone towards a sewer. Although the spirit of vengeance strongly protested against this, how could a dignified ghost rider go into a sewer like a little mouse? But Robbie, who learned meditation from Lao Wang, has embarked on the path of spiritual practice. If we make an analogy, the Ghost Rider is not similar to the Death Knight, but is somewhat similar to the Warlock, both of which can borrow the power of other evil beings. But in the end, whether to control it, or be controlled by it depends on one's own efforts. When the spirit of vengeance is not strong enough, Robbie takes the dominant position, because of his connection with the flesh. However, just when he reached the entrance to the sewer, Sky's voice came from the headset. Robbie, hurry to the upper floors of the building. Black Sky is on the upper floors. Agent Romanov has been abused, and Matt and the others can't hold on any longer. The beast's target is Erica. She is a more suitable container for the beast than that little boy. She is more mature, healthier, stronger, and wilder. The beast has killed many people, and accumulated a lot of power. Once it abandons its current container, and occupies Erica's body, New York will usher in a massacre. Upon hearing this, the voice of the spirit of vengeance immediately rang in Robbie's mind. Listen to me, Kit, we can't beat the beast now. There is a Chinese proverb called "It's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge." I think we should find a place to hide first, and I'll take you to Judge the Sons. After killing thousands or tens of thousands of people, we'll come back to settle accounts with the beast. Robbie paused. Do you know Chinese? The spirit of vengeance chuckled. That's right. I have lived for billions of years, and I know all the languages on earth. If you count dialects, there are at least thousands of them. Robbie snorted and quickened his pace. You are also a gentleman? The spirit of vengeance paused, and suddenly felt extremely irritated. Thanks to Can I Not Regret for the 500 reward and Finchenruki for the 100 reward. Chapter 91 Soul and Body Dual Division and Transfer. Deep underground. He's dead. Looking at the ruins made of mud and rubble, Salander, with dark curly hair, couldn't help laughing, his face and eyes full of pride. He pointed at the people around him, and their weapons and showed off, explosives, guns, shells, all are the best products of Hammer Industries. picked up directly from the factory and shipped through Fisk's channels, not the inferior products of small factories. They are all demolition experts and firearms experts specially trained by me, and each of them has dozens of lives under his hands. Murakami sneered. A rough man. Gambler. Haha. Upstarts. Products produced by Hammer Industries are originally inferior products. Okay. Alexandra remained silent, staring at the collapsed ruins. Salander was too cruel. He had the idea of killing the immortal Iron Fist from the beginning. With so many guns, so many explosives, and now buried with so much rubble and mud, the immortal Iron Fist, who should have only received the power of Shaoleo for decades, should be dead, right? Murakami waved his hand, and more than 20 ninjas holding Japanese swords surrounded him, their tone full of viciousness and cruelty. Salander, the people of Kunlun should believe in the energy in their bodies and the cold weapons in their hands, rather than hot weapons. Ordinary firearms can't deal with the immortal Iron Fist, and the power of bullets is far less than that of the best Japanese swords. The gambling disciple in a suit and tie stood aside, and the older mortal who claimed to be a gentleman suddenly shrugged. Salander, Iron Fist can't die. If he dies, who will open the seal? Who will open the door to Kunlun? It doesn't matter if you are alive or dead. The power of the Iron Fist will not disappear with death. We can take the dragon heart from the body of the Iron Fist and become the new Iron Fist. After a minute, there was still no movement in the ruins. The immortal Iron Fist should have died. Alexandra breathed a sigh of relief, but still said, you still have to be careful. The immortal Iron Fist is not that easy to deal with. Salander couldn't help but sneer. In 1,000 years, mankind has experienced agricultural society and industrial society. The development of science and technology was unimaginable 1,000 years ago, and the progress of weapons is the same. You guys are clinging to the Kai. Even if Shaoleo comes, an atomic bomb can kill him. Murakami snorted. That depends on how many years Shaoleo has lived. The two don't seem to get along. Salander is an African warlord who believes more in the power of modern technology, while Murakami is the leader of the Yamagachigumi, and believes more in the ancient Kai. For thousands of years, the five fingers have rarely been connected, and each one represents a force. Especially in the ancient times, when technology had not yet developed, some of them were in Africa, some in Europe, some in America, some in China or Japan, thousands of kilometers apart from each other. It was really difficult to contact each other, and there was no interest involved. Only when it was most important would they join forces. For example, to trigger the explosion of Mount Vesuvius and destroy the ancient city of Pompeii. During World War I and World War II, they had joined forces, and their shadows were indispensable behind the two world wars. Hydra served the government, and the ninjas under Murakami also served the Japanese military. In modern times, in peacetime, even if transportation is extremely convenient and communication is extremely smooth, there is still no contact between them, until now. In order to deal with the immortal Iron Fist, to obtain the dragon bone fossil sealed deep underground, to achieve immortality and return to Kunlun, they reunited, but there were also new contradictions. The immortal Iron Fist died. There was only one of him. The dragon heart in his body could only be transferred to one person, allowing one person to become the new immortal Iron Fist. Mrs. Gao died, and there was no way to revive without the dragon bone fossil. Now there are 4 people here who will get the dragon heart and become the new Iron Fist. Alexandra, Murakami, Botu, and Salander. The 4 people are far away from each other, and each of them has dozens of subordinates around them, not only to deal with the immortal Iron Fist, but also to deal with each other. The reason why the war has not started yet is that it is not certain whether the immortal Iron Fist is really dead, and more importantly, there are more enemies outside. 5 fingers clenched into a fist is more powerful. But no matter how powerful it is just a fist, and it is still a flesh fist. And getting the dragon heart and becoming the Iron Fist, with their thousands of years of experience and wisdom, they will definitely be more powerful than any Iron Fist in history. At that time, there is no need for the hand to exist. Okay, let's get the body of the Iron Fist out first. Maybe he is not dead and still has a breath. Force him to open the seal. Alexandra is still the leader after all, and this is New York, her home nest. She brought the most people, so everyone gave her face. Everyone assigned a few subordinates and started digging. Strange, do you feel a little cold? Alexandra tightened her shirt, which was almost exposed, and always felt that something was wrong. After living for more than 1,000 years, her spiritual perception ability was still very strong. A woman's intuition told her that a crisis that had not been seen for 1,000 years was coming, and the threat of death loomed over her and everyone here. But what exactly was it? The always cautious gambling apprentice also frowned. It seems that the temperature has dropped. Suddenly, a black man turned around abruptly, holding a submachine gun and yelled, "Who blew air on my neck?" As soon as he turned around, he was stunned. There was no one within 30 meters behind him who could blow so far. A kung fu master is almost the same. Wait, kung fu master? 30 meters away was where Alexandra and her men were. The black man's heart immediately rippled. Could it be that the asterisk who had lived for more than 1,000 years had taken a fancy to me? When he thought of this, the black man couldn't help but smile obscenely. At this moment, an invisible hand quietly held his hand and pulled the trigger. Bang, bang, bang. The bullets that had not been fired were instantly poured out. Alexandra was stunned. Are you going to rebel? You dare to smile at me obscenely and shoot with a submachine gun? Are you really brave, or have you eaten the heart of Lao? She raised her hand and a layer of true energy blocked it, but her subordinates were not so lucky. After a few seconds of being stunned, 3 of her subordinates were killed, and 2 were injured. Don't get excited, don't get excited, it's a misunderstanding. Salander saw that a fight was about to break out. Murakami and Bota led their men to retreat. They quickly slapped the black man who fired the gun, and smiled at Alexandra. It was an accidental discharge. It was an accidental discharge. Bang. Before she finished speaking, one of Alexandra's subordinates who was holding a gun and on guard, with the help of an invisible hand, pulled the trigger. Hit another black man under Salander's command. These blacks were soldiers who followed Salander to establish their own regime in Africa. They all had bad tempers. We shot you because it was an accidental discharge, and you shot me because it was intentional murder. How could you tolerate this? Without even Salander's order, they opened fire with submachine guns and shotguns, relying on their advantage in thermal weapons. Murakami and Botu hurriedly led their men to retreat. The problem was that the place was so small, where could they retreat to? With the help of someone, guns often went off accidentally, and Murakami and Botu's men were also implicated. No one could stay out of it. In such a fierce exchange of fire, even if someone realized that something was wrong, they couldn't stop. If they didn't shoot at the other side, they would be the ones to die. The fierce gun battle lasted only 3 minutes. Because it was relatively open and there were few shelters, and the bullets ran out quickly, the melee ended. Because they were targeted first, Alexandra's men suffered the most, with only 2 left alive. Salander had the most people left. If they hadn't run out of bullets, they might have been able to massacre everyone else with their advantage in thermal weapons. Botu had less than 10 people left. Murakami's ninjas were brave and fearless, but they were in a worse situation, with only 5 left. The 4 fingers were all alive, because they were protected by ki, reacted quickly, and had their men block the bullets. They looked at each other, and realized that something was wrong. But before they could react, they heard a mocking voice. Soul and body split and transfer. Lao Wang's invisible soul disappeared and exchanged places with the body. The slightly plump body appeared behind Alexandra. It's time to ask for a recommendation vote. Which posture do you think is better? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 92. You know nothing about power. The soul and body were exchanged, and the slightly plump Chinese youth appeared behind the upper class lady in New York. Then he stretched out his panda hand. Alexandra seemed to have eyes on her back, and her whole body was swollen with true ki, forming a layer of true ki shield. Then she bent down, stretched out her hands, and retracted her neck. The world-famous martial arts donkey rolling was about to reappear in the world. However, How could the speed and strength of the aging and dying lady be comparable to the young and strong panda people? The left hand that took off the titanium alloy boxing gloves pierced the true Q shield, and the white and slightly red flesh palm was imprinted on the back covered with white clothes. "Madam, do you need cupping?" A low and magnetic voice sounded. The strong true Q was injected into the body. The huge force penetrated through the back. Crack. A series of crisp sounds were heard, and 7 of the 33 vertebrae were broken, and then the internal organs in the body. Alexandra felt chest tightness and shortness of breath. She felt the last bit of strength being drained from her body. A surge of blood surged up, and her internal organs, especially her heart, were instantly shattered, causing a large amount of blood to spurt out. Under the effect of the true Ki, it poured into the trachea, esophagus, and throat. Then it sprayed out from the open mouth. The whole person flew out. The second unique skill besides donkey rolling was finally revealed. Buttocks backwards, flat send and falling wild geese style. With a muffled sound, Alexandra fell to the ground, perfectly falling. This can't be possible. All her internal organs were destroyed. Her spine was broken, her sternum was shattered, and the last bit of true Ki was forcibly prolonging her life. Alexandra knew that she was definitely going to die, but what surged into her heart at this moment was not the fear of death, but the despair of her own plans being shattered. You are not Iron Fist. No one knows Iron Fist better than her except Iron Fist. Having used the Shaolao Dragon Bone for more than 1,000 years, the power of her and the other 4 fingers actually originated from the same source as the Iron Fist, but one came from a dead dragon bone, and the other came from the heart of a living dragon. There is an essential difference between them, so one can only be used to prolong life, while the other can give the owner far more power than ordinary people. And now, feeling the true energy pouring into her body, Alexandra is sure the man behind her is not Iron Fist. What? Salander, Murakami, and Botu, who were about to take action, were stunned for a moment. This man is not Iron Fist? If he is not Iron Fist, there is no way to open the seal of Iron Fist, and there is no way to get the dragon bone fossil below. And the last bit of dragon bone brought from Kunlun was used by Hei Kang. This, what can we do? An indescribable sense of destruction and absurdity occupied the hearts of the 3 people, and even at this moment, they forgot the threat of death. When Lao Wang heard what Alexandra said, he was instantly unhappy. Wait a minute. Look carefully at my fist. Is my boxing glove made of iron? Is my fist harder than iron? Why am I not an Iron Fist? I not only have an Iron Fist, I also have an Iron Rod. Do you want to try it? The soul floated out of the ruins. Lao Wang's soul and flesh merged. He put on titanium alloy gloves, carried a titanium alloy rod, and sighed. I'm really an Iron Fist. You are a funny guy hired by the monkey. Salander, who is very knowledgeable about Chinese culture, was the first to wake up from the shock. He clenched his fists and shouted, "Don't be stunned. Let's go together and kill him, otherwise we will all die." The underground area is not completely isolated from the upper level, and there is not only one entrance and exit that is sealed. But Lao Wang's sudden magical method still convinced him escape is definitely impossible. The only way to survive is to kill this man. Botu holds a sword, Murakami holds a knife, and Salander is barehanded. One is the most amazing swordsmanship master in the world, one is the strongest swordsmanship master in Japan, and one is a master of acupuncture who knows the human body like the back of his hand. Really, it's a TV series setting. The 3 rushed over with their surviving men. The bullets were basically all used up, and even if there were any left, there were not many. Besides, with so many grenades, rockets, shotguns, and heavy machine guns, so many bullets fired, and so many bombs exploding, they couldn't kill the man in front of them, or even hurt him. They didn't expect hot weapons to be useful. At the critical moment, they had to rely on cold weapons and Ki. This guy pretending to be Iron Fist was too insidious and cunning. When he fought against Madame Gao, he didn't show his full strength, and pretended to be only a little stronger than Madame Gao. Now he showed his true strength and easily killed Alexandra, who was not much worse than Madame Gao. This man is not only not Iron Fist, but also not from Kunlun. Kunlun people are dead otakus who never go out, and they are heartless. Snap. Lao Wang took off the titanium alloy stick, and inserted it down into the hard ground. The harsh insertion and friction sound made the three men tremble. You are against power. He let go, clenched his fists, and stood like a mountain. I know nothing. Black Widow was lying on the ground, not knowing whether she should say MMP or not. I don't know what happened recently. I'm often injured. She is a legendary agent of SHIELD. She has never failed in her missions in the past few years, until she was shot in the waist. The Winter Soldier shot her a month ago at the Raxxon power plant. I don't know how many bullets were shot all over my body. If Master Wang hadn't appeared in time, I would have died at that time. Many people from Hydra shot her together. Now she is not shot, but she was beaten with bare hands. The one who beat her was not a strong and burly man, but a little boy who was only as tall as her chest, and it was on the bed. Who would believe it if she told others? The Widow used all her suits, but she was still beaten, ridden and beaten, and had no power to resist. It's so embarrassing. I need help. Looking at the little boy walking towards her step by step, Black Widow lay on the ground and backed away with her elbows and legs, shouting. Suddenly, a gunshot. Then there were continuous gunshots. Dozens of bullets were fired at the little boy at a very fast speed, causing him to retreat backwards, which was quite impressive, like an American blockbuster. Arika was here. She was wearing the standard equipment of a shield field agent, holding a submachine gun, and pointing it at the little boy. Her face was a little ferocious, her movements were a little wild, and her attitude was a little fierce, like a goddess of vengeance. Following next to her was Matt Murdock. This blind lawyer also held a submachine gun, and he also had a share of the bullets fired at the little boy. Agent Romanov, the last member of the trio, Stick Old Man, walked quickly to Black Widow, and without any taboos, he stretched out his right index and middle fingers, and poked her body more than a dozen times, including some important parts. This made Black Widow feel pain in some places, sourness in some places, itchy in some places, and warmth in some places. Acupuncture? Black Widow thought of some mysterious power from the east, and it seemed that some people in the hand could do it. The old man with the stick nodded. Master Wang taught me. More than a dozen acupuncture points were sealed by the true key, and the injuries on his body, caused by the little boy, were slightly relieved. The old man with the stick dragged the Black Widow back and threw a grenade forward. Boom. A violent explosion sounded, but there was no joy on the old man's face. Instead, his heart sank. The little boy walked out of the smoke. His clothes were torn and blown up, and he was almost naked. But he had no injuries at all. The beauty of youth was fully displayed in front of the two men and two women. Chapter 93. A family must be in good order. The desire for reproduction and multiplication is the most primitive desire of life. It is indeed a combination of original sin and original desire, so perverted. Black Widow couldn't help but glance at Erika next to her. If a woman is possessed by a beast, what changes will occur in her body? Quickly retreat. Thinking of the records about beasts in the ancient books of Zenshin society, the stick old man hurriedly shouted, it has absorbed the primitive desires and original sins of hundreds of people. Its power has descended on many people. It is not something we can deal with. Matt. Erika. Run away. Go and ask for the immortal Iron Fist. Whoosh. The stick old man's eyes blurred, and the little boy appeared in front of him without any sign. There was black hair all over his body, especially the circles under his eyes, as if he had been practicing immortality for 7 days and 7 nights in a row. The whole person was extremely gloomy, exuding an aura that made people furious and irritable. He punched him. The stick old man felt that everything in front of him was moving away rapidly, and his body drew a trajectory of more than 10 meters in the air, and then fell heavily to the ground. Crack. The floor broke into several pieces. He tilted his head and fainted decisively. Black Widow's eyes narrowed. He is stronger than before. He was not so strong just now, otherwise he could not have held on for so long. Could it be that many people died nearby? Who did it? Black Sky is so strong. Hundreds of people must have died, right? Hot weapons are useless. Matt threw away the submachine gun, pulled out 2 short sticks from his back, and rushed to the little boy. Sky, we need help. The help of the immortal Iron Fist. Then he heard the sound of air friction. Before he could even react, a fist had hit his chest. The opponent's speed was so fast. This is definitely not something a human can do. Through the comprehensive judgment of the 5 senses, He could clearly perceive every move of the opponent, but his weak body had no time to react and was easily defeated. 4 broken ribs, heart bleeding, slight lung damage, stomach torn, kidney intact. Matt quickly judged his physical condition. Youth is the capital. His physical fitness is much better than that of the stickman, and he was only seriously injured after a punch, and he was not dead or fainted. But he lost more than half of his fighting power. The next battle has nothing to do with him. Beast. Erica held a dagger in each hand. Her eyes were blazing, her expression was distorted, and her body was trembling slightly. In a blink of an eye, the little boy was in front of her. As the natural carrier of Black Sky, facing the beast that had already descended, it was like a puppy seeing its master, and there was no way to resist. Just like a girl who was targeted by a male god, and she lost all her strength in an instant. Weak and helpless, she fell down softly. This was not only the inability to resist at the level of spiritual will, but also the physical surrender. Her body was the carrier of the beast, and her soul was also the carrier of the beast. As an aggregate of original sin and original desire, the beast must rely on Black Sky to truly exist in the real world, similar to symbiosis, just like the venom she did not understand. You are mine. The little boy spoke, and in his sharpened young voice, there was a kind of ancient evil terror. Erica gritted her teeth, and felt that some infinite terror was descending from the little boy to herself. The beast was transferring its strength from the boy's weak body to her well-trained and muscular body with the power gained from continuous killing and endless sin. Erica felt the endless darkness. The darkness was about to devour her, assimilate her, and make her fall completely. Suddenly, she saw a ray of light. In the endless darkness, a ball of fire was burning. A chain flew from afar, and the burning hellfire spread to the boy's body. You are mine. Robbie, with his whole body on fire, walked over step by step from a distance. Even though the spirit of revenge kept telling him in his mind that it was better to escape immediately, he didn't care. The little boy in front of him, and the ancient evil god attached to him, made him feel boundless hunger. This guy's sins were more than 1,000 criminals combined. As long as he could kill him, he would be full, and the spirit of revenge would be full and become stronger. You are guilty. Robbie tried his best, and the hellfire surged wildly from his body along the chain to the boy's body, trying to burn him to ashes. His eyes were also blazing with fire. The sins committed by the little boy appeared like a movie clip. This was the Eye of Judgment, another signature skill of Ghost Rider besides hellfire. Your soul has been corrupted by the victims. Feel their pain. A strange and cruel smile suddenly appeared on the little boy's face. Ghost Rider. He reached out and grasped the chain. The hellfire was extinguished at a speed visible to the naked eye. A black force wrapped in sin and desire spread along the chain towards Robbie's body. Who do you think you are dealing with? I'm a beast. The immortal beast. Underground area. In just 1 minute, the battle was over. More than 100 people. No one survived. Alexandra, Murakami, Botu, Salander. 4 bodies lying on the ground, unless there are new dragon bones, otherwise they are really dead. Of course, monks also have the means to revive the dead, but even for the master monk, it is very difficult and costly, and there is no need for Lao Wang to do this, right? He thought for a moment, and placed the 4 bodies together, horizontally and vertically, and helped them close their eyes, so that they would not die with their eyes open. A family should be neat and tidy. Mrs. Gao is waiting for you in the freezer. Don't worry, we will be reunited. And I will fulfill your lifelong dream and send you home. This is also a reward for helping me find the dragon bones and knock on the door of Kunlun. Lao Wang looked up, and his mental power penetrated the thick soil layer, dozens of walls and hundreds of meters of space, searching the entire building like a giant net. Soon, he found an extremely evil soul at a very high place, a growing force. A naked boy who seemed to have crawled out of hell. Beast. A smile appeared on the corner of Lao Wang's mouth. I'm coming. Chapter 94. Let go of the boy and let me come. Fire is a symbol of human beings' progress towards civilization. Because of fire, humans began to have cooked food, began to drive away the cold, and extend their lifespan. When safety and lifespan are guaranteed, humans have the time and ability to enjoy and discover, and to create civilization. When you are well fed and warm, you will think about sex. Fire also has a very important role, lighting. With fire, humans can stay away from the terrifying darkness that hides infinite terror. Fire is the mortal enemy of darkness, the nemesis of darkness, and to a certain extent represents light. What is happening now at the highest point of this building is a showdown between fire and darkness. The fire of hell is constantly being driven away, and darkness is spreading towards Robbie. Sin and desire often appear in darkness, or are spread and realized with the help of darkness. As darkness spreads, sin and desire are also spreading and growing. This primitive power cannot have any effect on the spirit of vengeance, but for Robbie, it is a torment. Perhaps it is, because it is not strong enough, and of course it is more likely, because of the beast. The Eye of Judgment cannot judge the little boy who killed hundreds of people at all. Instead, it is the power of the beast that is constantly affecting Robbie. This makes the spirit of vengeance, who uses Robbie as a host, very unhappy, angry, and unwilling. You can't even use the Eye of Judgment properly, and you can't even use the chain technique. You haven't even mastered dimensional teleportation. You're even more useless than Johnny Explosive. And you're just as disobedient as him. The spirit of vengeance is immortal. At least it's impossible to be killed by a beast that only descended a small part of its power, so the Ghost Rider is also immortal. But this humiliation of being defeated and abused still makes the spirit of vengeance feel extremely angry. But no matter how angry it is, there's nothing it can do. It's not a beast, it kills people on principle. Only those who are guilty can be judged by the Eye of Judgment, and it can devour the other party's soul through the host to strengthen itself. Robbie is too restrained, and has been using his spiritual will to suppress it as much as possible. What's more hateful is that the Lao Wang Xiaopang actually taught Robbie to meditate and strengthen his spirit. Shouldn't the knight focus on strength, agility, and physique? What's the point of spirit? What's the result? The result is that he can't even beat this beast that didn't descend much power. For the spirit of vengeance, the host is the basis for it to exert its power in the real world, and it is also a limit to its own power. That guy Johnny, could it be that he threw me to him just because Robbie was disobedient? Hurry, and help him. Black Widow injured the pain all over her body and the weakness from excessive blood loss. She finally got up from the ground and found that she had no weapons. She had run out of bullets, 30,000 volts of electricity, tear gas, micro bombs, and plastic bombs. Her only weapons were tactical daggers and pistols without bullets. Her combat effectiveness was directly reduced from 1 widow to 0.2 widows, and because of her inconvenience in movement, she could basically only defend and not attack. Looking at the others, Black Widow wanted to cry. The old man with the stick was unconscious, and it was useless. Even if he woke up, he didn't know how many ribs were broken, and was completely useless. Matt was better, and his situation was similar to hers. Erica's combat effectiveness was still intact, but the problem was that the little girl didn't know what was wrong. She was actually stunned and didn't move. Was she going to rebel? The Ghost Rider was obviously no match for the little boy. It was enough that a 6-foot man couldn't beat a 4-foot boy. God wants to kill me. Black Widow sighed. Director, say goodbye to Clint. Take a deep breath. Take a breath. She held the tactical dagger, ready to fight desperately. Suddenly, someone blew a breath on her neck. Black Widow's whole body tensed up instantly, holding the dagger tightly and backhandedly struck. Clean. Beautiful. At the same time, she turned back, but saw nothing. This is... what the hell? An unprecedented fear surged in her heart, and Black Widow had goosebumps all over her body. Are there really ghosts in this world? Could it be that the beast controls the souls it devours? It's me. A low and magnetic voice sounded in her ears. So familiar, so gentle. Black Widow's heart trembled, as if she heard the most beautiful voice in her life. She quickly turned her head and shouted, "Master Wang, you finally..." Before she finished speaking, she was stunned. Old Wang appeared in front of her, with a warm smile on his face, but he looked so illusory, like a beautiful bubble, that would burst at the touch. "Master Wang, you are dead." Black Widow couldn't believe her eyes. A faint sense of loss and grief filled her heart. Was Master Wang killed by the Hand? Sure enough, people can't be too reckless. Those who are too reckless all died. Captain America died, the Wasp died later, and now Master Wang, the immortal Iron Fist from Kunlun, is also dead. Do you want me to die so much? Old Wang smiled. Then in Black Widow's tender eyes, it slowly became clearer and more specific, and the warmth naturally emitted by the human body made Black Widow sure Master Wang is really still alive. Master Wang. The roller coaster like mood almost made Black Widow lose control, but the legendary agent's excellent quality made her calm down in less than 2 seconds. Hurry, go help Ghost Rider. He can't beat that little boy. Don't worry, Ghost Rider is not that easy to deal with, at least he can hold on for a while. Old Wang smiled, and a stream of pure true energy was injected into Black Widow's body along her shoulders, and the green soothing mist instantly healed the injury. As his strength improved, Lao Wang's breast milk volume was completely different from before, from A cup to B cup. In fact, compared with others, Black Widow's injury was relatively light. Just one time would be enough, and she would have breast milk forever. Feeling the true ki pouring into her body, the itching of wound healing, and the warmth that was unique to men, Black Widow calmed down, and felt much more comfortable. Lao Wang raised his hand, and 2 green mists fell on Matt and the stickman respectively. Blood circulation technique, a better treatment method for monks. Matt's wounds healed quickly, and even the broken ribs were perfectly assembled and seamlessly connected under the action of true ki, and then healed, with an effect 100 times better than the best orthopedic surgery. Looking at the unconscious stickman, Lao Wang shouted, "If you don't wake up now, when will you wake up?" The stickman shuddered and opened his eyes. "Master Wang, you are here." He was a little excited, and got up quickly. "The immortal Iron Fist is here. There is salvation." Old Wang faced the black sky, stood with his hands behind his back, and said calmly, "We don't need you here. Go deal with the other members of the Hand." "Yes." The old man with the stick quickly obeyed the order. "Well." Black Widow turned around and followed. "But Erica." Matt hesitated, looking at his ex-girlfriend. Her mental will can't compete with the current beast, but she has been trying hard to resist, and has not been completely controlled yet. "Don't worry, leave it to me." Old Wang narrowed his eyes slightly. "Let's go. I'm afraid of hurting you by mistake." "Okay." Matt is also a decisive person. He knows that in a battle of this level, he is a burden, so he turned around and left. "It's our turn now." Old Wang glanced at Robbie, who was about to be swallowed by the darkness. "Let go of the boy. Let me do it." Thanks to Rural Tabby Cat for the 100 reward. The beginning of the previous chapter was actually swallowed by Gideon. It's illegal operation. So what? I'm very obscure. Chapter 95. World War II Black Beast. Let go. Let go. Upon hearing what Lao Wang said, the spirit of vengeance immediately called out in Robbie's mind. "If you don't let go, I will be driven back to hell." Yes, the spirit of vengeance is immortal, so the Ghost Rider is immortal. But there are many ways in this world to separate the spirit of vengeance from the Ghost Rider and then kill the Ghost Rider. Odin can do it, Hela can do it, Ancient One can do it, and those Lords of Hell can do it. For the extremely weak Ghost Rider, the beast that has descended a part of its power can also do it. The spirit of vengeance that loses its host will be pulled back by the power of hell. I finally came to the real world, and you want me to go back before I have enough fun? No way. Feeling that his soul was about to be swallowed by the boundless darkness, Robbie couldn't help but loosen his hand. "You say let go, I will let go." The chain loosened, the darkness was cut off, the fire of hell burned fiercely, the cold began to retreat, and the warmth returned. Robbie quickly stepped back, feeling the weakness of the spirit of vengeance's heart and body. A voice with the smell of hellfire sounded. "Master Wang, it's very strong. That's why I'm needed." Old Wang waved his hand. "Go help Black Widow and the others. Leave this to me." "Okay." Robbie and the spirit of vengeance agreed at the same time, turned around and left without hesitation. "It's you." The little boy opened his mouth, and his furious and manic voice had the taste of ancient barbarism. "Foolish human, you can't stop me. I'm the beast, I'm the embodiment of desire, I'm the messenger of sin, I'm the source of pain, I'm the star of disaster, unstoppable, irresistible." Too many lines. The author gave you a bonus? Old Wang interrupted mercilessly, touched the void, and took out a small bottle. With the eternal water bottle in hand, he took a small sip into his mouth. Feeling that the energy he had used up was fully replenished, Lao Wang was greatly inspired. He stretched out his left hand and hooked his index finger. "Idiot. Come and fight. You're looking for death. The beast, who was proficient in most languages in the world, was instantly angry and rushed towards Lao Wang. Feel the power of desire and sin. This guy has been staying at home for too long, and even his words are so stupid. Lao Wang made a pose and then attacked. Bang bang bang. Boom. Snap snap snap. The slightly fat young man and the thin boy started a fierce melee. The black energy wrapped in sin and desire and the green energy representing life energy kept fighting between the two. The black energy tried to erode Lao Wang's body and turn Lao Wang into an animal with only desire and no reason. However, Lao Wang kept himself clean and protected himself well. He resolutely did not touch dirty and disgusting things and did not let the naked boy get close. He also wanted to use his true energy to destroy the boy's body functions, but soon found that it was meaningless because the boy was no longer a human being. What maintained his body functions was no longer life energy, but the power of sin and desire. Just like the Ghost Rider, it was useless, even if his body was crushed. Like memory metal, it recovered in the blink of an eye. Lao Wang remembered it very clearly. Black Sky Erica, who had just been resurrected in the Defenders, had extremely strong physical fitness, great strength and speed. She was not inferior to Luke Cage in a head-on confrontation. Jessica Jones, who could overturn a car, could not compete with her in strength. The one in front of him, who had absorbed the killing desire of so many people, was much stronger than 10 Black Sky Ericas, and was not on the same level at all. It was difficult to kill the boy with physical attacks, but energy could. The beast was very unhappy. It had made a good plan. It was the embodiment of desire and sin, and a master of the spiritual and soul levels. Melee was just the beginning. Corroding the enemy's soul and dragging the opponent into the abyss of depravity was its strongest means. But soon it found that something was wrong. Why does this guy's soul and spirit feel stronger than mine? No matter how much desire and sin there is, it can't corrupt him. On the contrary, his soul exudes a kind of peaceful and tranquil atmosphere, as if to calm his desires and persuade his soul. How is this possible? No, you are not a human. The beast stared at Lao Wang with scholar eyes, thinking that he had guessed the truth. Who are you? Are you an alien spiritual entity? A magical entity from other dimensions? Or an immortal soul from ancient times? Guess. An unfathomable smile appeared on Lao Wang's face. I'm not an ancient soul, an alien, or a magical entity from other dimensions. I'm not from your Marvel universe at all. What do you think? The little sister's blood is not used in vain, and the beast can't see through his own origins. The melee continued. It was okay at the beginning. The beast's horror is mainly reflected in the soul and spirit. It feeds on sin and desire, but the soul is the carrier of sin and desire. The dead souls around it are devoured by it and turned into nutrients, allowing it to descend with more power. Part of this power is used to strengthen the body, but the strengthening is limited. In fact, Lao Wang and the beast are really the same. In a weak body, there is an extremely powerful soul. This is a restriction on the soul, which makes it impossible to exert the strength it should have. Beasts represent desires and sins. Perhaps for most superheroes, they are difficult to resist, but Lao Wang is not afraid. He has long been accustomed to it. The old gods, the seven evils, the spider demons, the shadow priests, the warlocks, the dreadlords, and those female creatures. Which one is not good at mental attacks and mind manipulation? In the face of the temptation of Jaina and Queensy, Lao Wang drank so many psychedelic potions from the Royal Apothecary Association and the Culturous Alchemist Master, and he could resist the urge to stop and whip his horse. How could a beast that only descended with a part of its power be qualified to affect him? But as time went on, more and more people died, and the beast devoured more and more souls, and its strength became stronger and stronger, but Lao Wang's strength did not improve. He began to feel a little tired. This kind of hardship is reflected in the body. He had to admit that he was not as strong as a little boy now. In addition, the true energy is limited, and the essence of the eternal well water is also limited, but because the killing is still going on, the little boy can keep replenishing it. In terms of endurance, he also lost. You should make a choice, King. The voice of the little sister of Azeroth sounded in the old king's mind. You need a skill, a helper, or an equipment that can destroy the beast. The old king sighed. The beast can never be destroyed, just like the evil demons of Pandaria. But at least the part of its power that has descended can be dispersed, just like you did before. The little sister said, I have thought of 2234 plans, and each one can do it. The old king's eyes lit up, and without hesitation, give me the cheapest one. Thank you for 0.19 grams of blood of Azeroth. The little sister said In the heart of Azeroth, the 5 rings were filled with blood. The level 5 space-time channel was opened. New York Temple. Master Daniel opened his eyes suddenly. With the help of the power left in the temple by the supreme mages of all generations, he quickly sensed the exact location of the space-time anomaly. New York. P.S. I recommend a book called Only Dragons on My Planet. The title sounds very interesting, right? The writing is also very interesting. You can take a look. Chapter 96. Darkness of 1,000 Souls. World of Warcraft. Sunwell Plateau. This fountain of magic that has nurtured the High Elves for more than 7,000 years was finally turned into a portal by the Prince of the High Elves at the turning point of fate. The surging energy of the Sunwell turned into a huge toilet, and a red-skinned demon was trying to climb out of it, revealing his muscular upper body. He was strong, tall, and full of power. Kil'jaeden the Deceiver, the deputy of the Dark Titan Sargeras, the leader of the Erida, the executioner who destroyed countless worlds, the desecrator of all realms, the creator of the Scourge of the Undead, and the most powerful warlock in World of Warcraft. The death of the Erida twins was not worth mentioning. The fall of Miru made him a little emotional, and the attack of the Broken Sun Alliance made him angry. But as long as these weak enemies are eliminated and all the energy of the Sunwell is completely absorbed, he can truly descend into this world and accomplish what neither Sargeras nor Archimonde could do, destroying the newborn titans. Chaos. Destruction. Annihilation. My will cannot be violated. This world must be destroyed. The voice from another world, in the competition between light and shadow, in the agitation of fell energy and holy light, twisted into a terrifying word, darkness of 1,000 souls. Endless souls wailed in pain, and under the influence of shadow energy, they attacked everyone in the Broken Sun. Every second, there were hundreds of attacks. Those elite coalition forces wearing sophisticated and even epic equipment fell one after another. Even the weak blue dragon Collecgus could not withstand too many attacks, and had already suffered heavy damage in the previous battle. It was about to die. The blue dragon orb was about to lose control. Without the protection of the blue dragon orb, the pitiful coalition forces could not even hold on for 10 seconds, and no one could stop him from coming to this world. Under the burning sky, the end of the world was about to come. Suddenly, Kil'jaeden let out a light sigh. Darkness of 1,000 Souls was one of his favorite group attack spells. It was composed of countless wailing souls and twisted shadows. Each soul and each shadow was a continuous attack again and again. One of the attacks suddenly disappeared. Collecgus finally got a chance to breathe. The gentle call of the blue dragon resounded throughout the Sunwell Plateau. Anvina, wake up. The world needs you. The level 5 space-time channel was only open for 3 seconds. After a few hundred or a thousandth of the attack of darkness of 1,000 souls came to another world, it was immediately closed. The blood of Azeroth, which was already scarce, was instantly exhausted, leaving less than 1/20th. The painful wail was as terrifying as the howl of the Banshee Queen, with the power to tear the soul. Even if it was only a tiny part of the entire group attack skill, it still had legendary damage. 1,000th of the darkness of 1,000 souls hit the little boy, hitting the chaotic soul. The large number of souls that were swallowed by force, but failed to melt, were not stable enough. The fragile and tiny boat of flesh carried hundreds of souls, and drifted in the sea of suffering. Suddenly, a wave splashed. The boat capsized. This is impossible. The ancient evil god, who finally descended, roared unwillingly. Feeling the collapse of the soul aggregate, it knew very well that it had failed. Even this body was collapsing, and was eroded by a strange dark energy, and could no longer be used. The only way now was to forcibly descend into another black sky. But how could it be possible in front of such a powerful enemy? Although it was close at hand, it seemed far away. What's more, the slightly fat Chinese youth had already blocked Erica. I will come again. The little boy's blood-red eyes stared at Lao Wang, like a wild beast that chooses its prey. I will take away all the souls I devoured, and descend into another black sky. No, I will wait until the opportunity comes to descend into the body of the girl behind you. She can't refuse me who has devoured so many souls. I don't believe you can always protect her. Looking at the little boy's overly cultivated face, Lao Wang seemed to see a otaku who had stayed at home for hundreds or thousands of years. Silly and cute. It seems that the growth of age does not bring the accumulation of wisdom. Experience will. The little boy's body is collapsing. The power of the beast is disappearing. Those souls that were forcibly gathered because of being devoured are disintegrating. Lao Wang only needs the simplest and most direct attack, or even a poke with his finger, to completely kill Black Sky and send the beast back to its hometown. But he didn't do that. Azeroth. Lao Wang said lightly, I need another skill. Which one? Absorb souls. Chenghu 0.01 grams of Azeroth blood. As soon as the voice fell, the last blood of Azeroth disappeared. The 4 rings were filled with blood, and the 10 sponge-shaped spherical spaces turned red instantly. The 4th level space-time channel was opened. In World of Warcraft, some unlucky person in some unknown timeline, the spell disappeared. Lao Wang raised his hand, and strange energy shot into the little boy's body from the void, tearing his soul. No. What did you do to me? My soul is weak. He felt that the souls he had swallowed with great difficulty, before he had time to completely digest them, disappeared one after another, turned into purple beams of light, and flowed into Lao Wang's hands, turning into diamond-shaped gems one after another. Those were soul fragments. What are you doing? Lao Wang sneered. I'm absorbing your soul. The spell continued. Absorbing soul is a warlock spell. The effect is to absorb the enemy's soul, and under the effect of the spell power, it becomes a soul fragment. Early version of World of Warcraft. Soul fragments are the most important spellcasting materials for warlocks. Whether it is making soul stones, healing stones, or summoning demons, they are indispensable. Even in the circle of warlocks and demons, soul fragments are a harder currency than gold, mithril, and arcane crystals. The quality of soul fragments is related to the souls they absorb. In less than half a month, the beast devoured more than 500 souls, most of which were ordinary people. Most of these souls have been digested and absorbed, and turned into nutrients for the beast, but there are still some that have only been partially digested or not digested at all. These souls are too fragile, far inferior to the humans and orcs in the continuous war in World of Warcraft. Several or even dozens of them can form a soul fragment of the worst quality, but it is still a rare good thing. And there are enough. Thank you for your gift. Lao Wang had a blank expression. Then, go back to your world. The last trace of soul was squeezed out, and the little boy fell to the ground. No. With an unwilling roar, the ancient evil god who had been in this world for less than half a month was kicked back to his hometown again. A full 24 soul fragments floated in front of Lao Wang. With a wave of his hand, they disappeared. Everything should be over. It's time for me to clean up the battlefield. Lao Wang's soul and body were split into 2. A second later, he came to the underground area. Thanks to Zeo882 for the 100 reward. Chapter 97 Old Ace Master Key. Firestone Base. Sky stared at the 16 computer screens in front of him, his eyes fixed on them. The densely packed small windows showed real-time surveillance of all the main streets in Hell's Kitchen and the interior of the skyscraper. Hundreds of green and red dots kept flashing. Green dots represented friendly forces, and red dots represented enemies. The densely packed red dots became fewer and fewer, and the bright red turned into lush green, but the only yellow dot had long disappeared. Wang, are you okay? Please don't get into trouble. Apart from my parents, who I have no memory of, you are my only family. Sky was in a trance, and suddenly Erica's voice came from the headset, with a bit of relief in her tiredness. Everyone, Beast has been killed by Master Wang. We won. Matt, teacher, I'm going to support you now. Sky was stunned for 2 seconds. Suddenly he leaned back, and a spring-like smile appeared on his face. I knew you could do it, my king. Underground area. The bodies of the hand members were scattered all over the place, like crayfish on a plate, with the 4 fingers of the hand standing straight in the middle, like a steamed hairy crab tied in the middle of a plate. For a beast, it might be delicious, but Lao Wang was obviously not interested. Even though he had achieved the World of Warcraft on the tip of the tongue achievement, and had eaten on several planets such as Azeroth, Outland, and Argus, Lao Wang never attacked the Pandaren. Well, the roasted quail was quite fragrant, and I missed it when I thought about it. With a wave of his hand, he put the 4 bodies into the Heart of Azeroth, and walked to the stone prison sealed by the Iron Fist, and stretched out his hand. He had only observed it in the form of a soul before, and had not had close physical contact. Lao Wang initially judged that, in order to break this seal, either the Iron Fist must be used, or he must have a powerful ability to suppress the seal. That might be the ability of the Hulk or Thor. The white and red flesh palm was pressed against the stone prison, and a stream of true energy was injected into it. Countless runes glowed. Similar but different true ki, like a little girl alone at home, resisted Lao Wang's invasion. His green true ki had no way to penetrate it, and could only flow on the surface of the stone prison, blocked by runes. The resistance was great. Interesting. Lao Wang stopped. He was the most remarkable monk grandmaster in the history of World of Warcraft, and the god in the minds of all monks. His status even surpassed Emperor Xiao, and he was on par with the 4 supreme gods. His mastery and understanding of true ki far exceeded anyone else. All true ki comes from life itself, and is essentially the energy of life. Therefore, true ki of different attributes can be transformed into each other. The true ki of the panda people is mainly green, representing life, but the ability of the panda people is not limited to this. With true ki as the foundation, mobilizing various other energies is just like the legendary cultivators who use their own mana to mobilize the vitality of heaven and earth. The brewmaster or windwalker are better at the energy that also comes from life itself, while the mistweaver is similar to the druid, who is good at manipulating natural mana. A strong enough monk master can even manipulate the power of element, earth, fire, water, wind, and the 5th element soul. Even the true ki itself is completely different for different monks. The true ki of the earth and water school is softer and thicker, and the true ki of the fire and gold school is more violent. The monks of the Azure Dragon Temple have endless vitality in their true ki. The monks of the Red Crane Temple have the enthusiasm and activity of the elemental fire. The true ki of the monks of the White Tiger Temple is more lethal, and the monks of the Zenzao Temple are better at defense. Lao Wang does not belong to any sect or temple. As the only Grand Master of the 3 cultivations in Azeroth, although Lao Wang is more accustomed to using the purest attributeless true ki, he can make fine adjustments at any time. Disguising as the Earth and Water School or the Fire and Gold School is as easy for him as eating and sleeping. And now what he has to do is to simulate the Iron Fist power that keeps flowing in the stone prison. The stone prison is a lock, and the Iron Fist is a key. The original key is of course good, but as long as it matches, other keys can open it. The colorful flags are very cute, and the wildflowers on the roadside are also picked. Lao Wang is a master key. Iron Fist's true key comes from the dragon Xiao Lao. This immortal dragon unique to the Marvel universe is similar to the dragon in Chinese legends and the King Lang Yu Lang and the Supreme God, but it is definitely not the same. A postdoctoral fellow may be able to disguise himself as an ordinary college student, but an ordinary college student can never disguise himself as a postdoctoral fellow, even if he has a doctoral degree. The true key of an ordinary monk is too low to simulate the extremely high level power of the Iron Fist, but Lao Wang is not ordinary. His level is higher than that of the immortal dragon. Half an hour passed. Lao Wang kept changing his posture and body position, and his ever-changing true ki attacked the stone prison. Countless runes flashed like the shy eyes of a girl, surging with the power of the Iron Fist, trying to resist but also welcoming. In and out, coming and going. After thousands of attempts, Lao Wang finally got the G-spot of the stone prison. The key was inserted into the keyhole, and the little girl, who was alone at home, blushed. Suddenly she smiled. He raised his hand and gently patted the stone prison, just like he stroked the beautiful back of the Green Dragon Queen after the candle went out that night. Time seemed to stop at this moment. The next moment, Lao Wang heard a sound like the black dragon Latio breaking out of its shell. A tiny crack appeared on the stone prison. Then it continued to extend and split. Soon, the entire stone prison was covered with thousands of cracks. Accompanied by a series of deafening roars, the entire stone prison completely collapsed. The huge stone prison with a length and width of 100 meters and a height of more than 30 meters disappeared. The power of the Iron Fist and the power of the dragon, that had accumulated for hundreds and thousands of years, completely dissipated in an instant, and vented in all directions. The earth was shaking slightly. The smoke and dust soon dissipated. A winding and huge bone dragon appeared in front of Lao Wang. Inside the building. It's finally over. After killing the last member of the Hand, Black Widow leaned against the wall and gasped, and a slightly fat figure emerged in her mind. Master Wang, the immortal Iron Fist. Suddenly, the whole building began to tremble. But it only lasted for a few seconds, before returning to calm. Another shallow source earthquake. Black Widow's beautiful eyes narrowed, and a deep sense of doubt surged in her heart. What on earth happened? Could it be? Master Wang did it again. The top floor of the building. The shaking building returned to calm, and under the gaze of the stickman and Erica, Matt listened attentively. All the sounds were filtered, processed, and integrated by the brain and nerves, and finally integrated into a clear, but abstract picture in his mind. A full 3 minutes passed. He nodded gently, with great shock in his voice. He succeeded. He opened the seal you mentioned. The stickman's tense nerves finally relaxed, and the last trace of doubt in his heart completely dissipated. That's right, he is the immortal Iron Fist. Chapter 98 Hell's Kitchen Sinful Night. Outside the building, an alloy arrow cut through the darkness and hit the hand Suv that was turning to flee in the distance. 3, 2, 1, blast. Hawkeye counted silently. There was a red light on the arrow shaft, flashing 3 times at a very fast speed. The macro bomb hidden in the arrowhead exploded instantly, and the whole cart turned into a burning fireball, illuminating half of the street. With the death of Beast and the attack of S.H.I.E.L.D., most of the Hand members began to disintegrate, but some became crazy and rushed towards Hawkeye because of his amazing performance. One arrow piercing the clouds, thousands of troops came to meet. Hawkeye was of course not afraid. While shooting arrows continuously, he scanned the surroundings and frowned. Natasha, the Hand people are running away. We have limited manpower, and more than 1/3 of the casualties are killed or injured. We can't catch up, and we can't control the situation. The voice of Black Widow came from the headset. Be safe, prepare to retreat, and leave it to the police station to handle next. Hawkeye said and was about to ask if Black Widow was injured, but suddenly felt something was wrong. As a legendary agent of SHIELD, he was well trained, and could remain absolutely calm and composed no matter how dangerous or erotic the mission was, or what kind of environment he was in. But now, he found that his emotions were a little unstable. He already had someone he liked, but when he heard Natasha's voice, he couldn't help but get excited, and his body also had some embarrassing reactions. His heartbeat accelerated, and he was soft when he should be soft, and hard when he should be hard. How could this happen? I, Clint Barton, am not that kind of person. Suddenly, a scream attracted Hawkeye's attention. He turned his head suddenly, and saw through the window 500 meters away, that a thin man was being beaten by a fat woman. Did she seem to be domestic violence? Bang, bang, bang. Turning his head again, a SHIELD agent was shooting with a machine gun. Even though the other party was dead, he still kept shooting, with a hideous face and a beast-like appearance. The Hand members who rushed over also lost their minds, and were dominated by desire. Killing, robbery, theft, and rape. Crimes were everywhere, and there were unbearable scenes everywhere. Strange. What happened? It's the power of the beast. On the top floor of the building, the old man with the stick said in a deep voice, Master Wang killed the beast, but part of its power collapsed, affecting the people nearby, seducing and amplifying their sins and desires. Then what should we do? What should S.H.I.E.L.D. do? What should the government do? Black Widow asked in the headset. Increase public security efforts. The old man with the stick looked solemn. In the future, the crime rate in New York will increase many times. Matt, who didn't know much about the beast, suddenly asked, the beast is dead. How can it still affect so many people? It devoured hundreds of souls. So many fallen souls were released with its death, which should have affected more people and caused more crimes. The old man with the stick had a puzzled look on his face. Strange. What did Master Wang do? Could it be that those souls devoured by the beast disappeared? What is he doing now? Underground area. The dragon that had been dead for who knows how many years had turned into a bone dragon, which reminded old Wang of the dragon sanctuary in the dragon bone wilderness. When a dragon's life reaches its end, it will fly to the corresponding holy land, die in the company of its people, and obtain eternal peace. The entire dragon bone wasteland is actually the cemetery of the 5-color dragon clan, but it has been desecrated. Kil'jaeden the Deceiver created the Lich King Ner'zhul and the Scourge of the Undead. The power of death and frost polluted the corpses of these dragons, giving them the same terrible ability and identity. Frost dragons. The dragons in World of Warcraft are huge in size. Even if they become frost dragons, they still have a strong visual impact. Those dragons that have lived for thousands or tens of thousands of years often have a body that is hundreds of meters long and 40 or 50 meters high. The wingspan is equal to the body length. They manipulate frost and arcane magic, and are born legendary soldiers. The bone dragon in front of him is also more than 100 meters long, but it looks much more slender and elegant, and has huge wings, just like the Yinglang in myths and legends. So, if it is resurrected as a frost dragon, Lao Wang shook his head. To revive a legendary creature of this size, you must have at least legendary abilities, legendary lich, legendary death knight, and magical equipment that also has legendary abilities. For example, Frostmourne. Whether it is summoning a legendary professional or exchanging legendary equipment, Lao Wang can't do it now. He doesn't have enough blood. The most important thing is that the frost dragon can be summoned at any time, but an immortal dragon of this size is precious. Even if it is dead, there may be only one on the entire earth. It can't be wasted. If it is used to revive the 5 fingers of the hand and maintain life, it can even allow them to live for thousands or tens of thousands of years. And if it is delivered to Azeroth, it should be able to exchange for a lot of good things, or directly exchange for the blood of Azeroth. We have to hurry. Lao Wang grabbed the skull of the immortal dragon with both hands, and his whole body of true energy rushed into it frantically. Then, he exerted force suddenly. The steel plate under his feet sank, and the rock under the steel plate shattered. There was a continuous cracking sound. Then there was a crisp breaking sound. The dragon head, which was almost as big as a classroom, was torn off from Lao Wang's body. Then it suddenly disappeared and appeared in the heart of Azeroth. It was unknown how long this dragon bone had existed. It had long been integrated with the soil below. Even if the Hulk was called over, it would be impossible to drag it out completely, and there would be no way to store it in the heart of Azeroth. The Hulk's power in the movie universe is not infinite, at least not yet. Lao Wang could only dismember it, piece by piece. Although S.H.I.E.L.D. did not know what was strange in the underground area, it would definitely send someone to check it out, and it would be either tonight or tomorrow. Such a good thing cannot be left to them. Lao Wang rolled up his sleeves and worked hard. As time passed, the dragon bones disappeared piece by piece. A strong enough body must be supported by strong enough bones. These dragon bones are extremely dense, even heavier than rocks of the same volume. The entire dragon bone weighs more than 1,000 tons. Lao Wang is confident that his strength can beat Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but it is probably worse than Spider-Man, not to mention the Hulk, who is famous for his strength. And it is indeed not easy to break these hard bones. It took half an hour to finally get it done. Looking at the empty underground area, Lao Wang sighed, feeling the pleasure of having his desire satisfied. A good building, but the underground is so empty. There is definitely a hidden danger of the building collapsing, but it doesn't matter. Luden may not care about this kind of thing, but he will definitely notify the relevant departments to take over. You don't need to worry about it yourself. The hand plot is finally over. Lao Wang's soul and body are separated, and his spirit and body are transferred to the top floor of the building. Looking around and listening carefully, there is chaos and crime everywhere. Although the beast has been kicked back to its hometown, the influence it brings is still there. Just like although a Manthal had already been crushed to death by a Manthal himself, it can still affect the continent of Pandaria and even all the creatures in Azeroth. But again, this matter has nothing to do with him. If S.H.I.E.L.D. or relevant departments are willing to pay, it would be a good idea to let Matt and the others train the troops. Besides, Robbie is too weak and can't even beat the beast. There is no need for those guys who are definitely destined to die and their dirty souls to go to hell. Hearing the sound of sirens coming from a distance, Lao Wang smiled and said, "Let's go. Go home and sleep." Thanks to Zio882, to IAO2, and Cheoksuksuchi for the 100 rewards. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 99, Alexandra's Collection. Other places were not affected much. After all, they were too far away. Whether it was the remnant of the beast or the exchange of fire between SHIELD and the Hand, it could not be transmitted that far. But for the people in Hell's Kitchen, it was destined to be a sleepless night. The remnant of the beast, the disintegrating soul energy and mental fluctuations, with the breath of sin and desire, were actually nothing to those kind-hearted and determined people. They were not even as attractive as the 5 million in front of them, and more likely to lead to crime. But Hell's Kitchen was different. This was the base camp of gangsters, the worst, dirtiest and most chaotic place in New York, and there was sin everywhere. Now, these sins were magnified by the remnant of the beast, and many desires that could have been suppressed were released, and various criminal acts emerged in an endless stream. There were gang fights, and there were robberies and thefts by small gangsters. Even ordinary people began to commit crimes. Public security was the responsibility of the police. However, just as SHIELD had become a branch of Hydra, the New York Police Department had long become a branch of Wilson Fisk, that is, the power of Kingpin. The sinful desires hidden in the hearts of those policemen were no less than those of gangsters. When they also start to commit crimes, who will maintain law and order? Who will enforce the law? The only lucky thing is that there are heroes in the dark. In Hell's Kitchen that night, many people saw heroes with their faces covered, or vigilantes. A thin old man with a cane, a tall woman holding two short swords, a strong man holding two tactical short sticks, a ghost rider riding a motorcycle, stealing, and of course a slightly fat guy. The gangs were angry and afraid of these sudden vigilantes. Most ordinary people welcomed them, but there was definitely no shortage of jealousy, envy, and even curses. The human heart is the most difficult to guess, and the most uncontrollable. In any case, from this night on, the legends of the immortal Iron Fist, the Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Black Sky, and the Stickman began to spread in Hell's Kitchen and even throughout New York. Not only them. There are criminals in this world, but there is no shortage of heroes. When you see evil, there will always be someone who stands up. For example, a female private detective who likes black clothes, likes to drink and can fly, a bold black man who is invulnerable to swords and guns, and a former US Marine who claims that, as long as you are guilty, you must die. Of course, Lao Wang doesn't care about these. Although he is a vigilante, he is actually not interested. This kind of thing can be handed over to other people. Whether it is Robbie or Matt, they will be happy to do it. Even the Kingpin who manipulates the New York Police Department is just a small role, just right format to practice. Of course, you have to consider the harvest when fighting dungeons and bosses. Lao Wang is not interested in touching corpses. After all, the 5 most important and precious corpses have been thrown into the Heart of Azeroth by him. But there is no doubt that such a large organization that has existed for thousands of years must have a huge industrial chain, financial reserves, and even a large number of good things. Mrs. Gayo's nest is in China, Mirakami's nest is in Japan, Salander's nest is in Africa, and the Gambling Master's nest is in Europe. Lao Wang is out of reach, but Alexandra's nest is in New York, and her treasures are also hidden in New York. At your fingertips. Through facial matching, Sky, who hacked into the New York Police Department and road surveillance systems, quickly found several places where Alexandra often went, including several companies she controlled, and the villa where she lived the longest. Taking advantage of the night, Lao Wang went there in person. His eyes lit up. From ancient times to the present, no matter how many faces and identities Alexandra has changed, she has always been a Western noblewoman, and has intersected with many celebrities in history, such as Mozart, Beethoven, Galileo, and Newton. As a noblewoman, she naturally has the style and taste of a noblewoman. She has a room dedicated to collecting antiques. It is very large, more than one, and it is full of good things. Beethoven's manuscripts, Stradivari's violins, Van Gogh's famous paintings, Wang's is his authentic works. In addition to these, there are also famous wines that have been stored for many years, limited supply of famous cheese, precious flowers, evening dresses and underwear worth millions, and old records and DVDs. It is difficult to evaluate the value of these things. The only thing that Lao Wang, who was at the bottom of society in his previous life and this life, can be sure of is that he is very valuable. There are many people in this world who are not so conspicuous, not included in the Forbes rich list, and do not have many companies or stocks, but it does not mean that they are really poor, but their wealth mostly exists in another way. If you really want to evaluate wealth, Tony Stark is nothing, and Black Panther may not be the richest man on Marvel Earth. Let's not talk about anything else. The artifacts of Kamataj and the 3 major temples cannot be exchanged, even if all the vibranium in Wakanda is taken out. Alexandra is also such a person. Of course, her wealth is more than that, but those bank accounts, safes, stocks, and holding companies are not so easy to get. Regarding these, Lao Wang has a complete set of plans, and the beginning of all this must wait for the Dark God Book Laboratory to have certain results, such as brain mapping technology, such as memory uploading technology. With Fitz and Simmons joining, the progress should be much faster. Thinking of the 2 brilliant young scientists, Lao Wang felt that the future of the Dark God Book Laboratory was bright. Throwing everything directly into the Heart of Azeroth, Lao Wang waved his sleeves and left without a cloud. Shield Trident headquarters, director's office. The long meeting finally ended, and Luden rubbed his eyes and yawned. This kind of meeting is really boring. The high-ranking directors have no idea about the specific operation of Shield. Their decisions are mixed with too many political factors and interests, and have long deviated from the original intention of Shield. Luden considers himself a veteran in the political arena, but he is still a little tired of dealing with those guys. Fortunately, there is Pierce to help me. Thinking of the boss who promoted him, Luden really hopes that he is not a Hydra, otherwise it will be really troublesome. Because that means that Shield is not Hydra at all, and there is no such thing as Hydra extremists undercover Shield, but it should be brave black people undercover Hydra and successfully develop a group of subordinates, a complete police and gangster undercover movie. Too bad. The phone rang. It was Black Widow. Luden took a deep breath and adjusted his voice to a low and magnetic tone. Speak. The immortal Iron Fist killed the beast and the 4 fingers. The hand collapsed. The New York Police Department took over. We have successfully evacuated 24 people died in this mission and 42 were seriously injured. Black Widow reported. I will send someone to negotiate with the New York Police Department and take over this matter in the name of Shield. Luden thought briefly and then said, the seriously injured will retreat. You and Agent Barton will take people to several places and bring back the things there. He hung up the phone and sent a few addresses. These were all found with great difficulty. Among them were the secret bases of the Hand and Alexandra's villa, which contained many good things. For example, the resurrection coffin and dragon bones promised by the immortal Iron Fist, and Alexandra's private collection. Shield has billions of anonymous sponsors every year, which is enough. But since the first day he became the director, he has been constantly training secret agents and building secret bases. All these things cost money, a large amount of money. Even if he is the director, it is difficult to embezzle Shield's funds without leaving a trace. Hydra may have already known everything. When Shield takes over, although he can get a lot of wealth from the Hand, it is not his. I hope Alexandra's collection can give me a surprise. According to the existing information, if those collections are auctioned, the value should not be less than 500 million. I hope that 500 million will be deposited soon, and my mood will be much better. Thanks to Liquor Burning Lips for the 500 reward. Chapter 100 Tahiti Project. A secret base of Hydra. What? Immortal Iron Fist? Ghost Rider? The Hand was wiped out? Hearing the report from his subordinates, Whitehall, who had just climbed out of bed, was still in a bad mood and roared. Why is it so sudden? Why didn't I know about this operation? His subordinates were terrified. Seeing Whitehall holding the scalpel he always carried with him when he slept, his face was grim, and he was afraid that his boss would throw him on the operating table for dissection. He hurriedly explained, Fury used secret agents, and our people didn't receive any news until the operation began. Whitehall had a gloomy face. Ghost Rider was related to the Dark Book, Immortal Iron Fist was related to a powerful force, and the Hand was related to resurrection. He had been paying attention to these guys, who had only recently surfaced, because S.H.I.E.L.D. had been investigating Hydra recently, so they didn't take action. He didn't expect this to happen. Immortal Iron Fist and Ghost Rider seemed to have joined forces with Fury. Whitehall paced back and forth, thinking secretly in his heart. Although Hydra has long controlled SHIELD, it has never surfaced. It is carrying out an important plan of Dr. Zala, Project Insight. This plan has lasted for decades, and requires the mobilization of a large amount of funds. It also requires the support of the Security Council and the US government. Hydra must retain the skin of SHIELD. To do this, however, this is Dr. Zala's plan, not his Whitehall's plan. When he was rescued from prison by Pierce, the plan had already begun. The inside of Hydra is not a monolithic block. He has been in prison for decades. Although he is an old man of Hydra and a colleague of Red Skull, he has actually lost his authority. Alexander Pierce is the most powerful one. Dr. Zala prefers to rule and dominate the world with the power of science and technology, but like Red Skull, he pays more attention to those ancient myths and legends, and pays more attention to the power of the human body itself. For him, the temptation of immortality and powerful power is greater than power and wealth. Contact Pierce or Garrett. No, contact my people in S.H.I.E.L.D. Whitehall said coldly, we must get the obelisk at all costs. Firestone Farm. Before dawn, cars have arrived here one after another. The surviving agents brought a large amount of seized supplies and entered the underground base to report the situation. In the training room, a high-definition screen lit up, and the shiny bald head of Ludan appeared. Under the bright spotlight, it was so dazzling. Seeing the big bald head, Black Widow's mind instantly emerged with the braised eggs that the director and Master Wang ate that night, and she couldn't help but smile. Report the situation. Ludan coughed, put his hands behind his back, and looked serious. Black Widow quickly held back her laughter and told her everything that happened in the building last night. She then added, before retreating, I went to the underground area to take a look. There was a serious landslide and I couldn't get in at all, so I didn't know what was inside. Master Wang said he killed 4 fingers, but we didn't see the bodies. They should be buried underground for show. Ludan pondered for 2 seconds and asked, you mean, Master Wang has the ability to travel through real objects? He came out of the collapsed underground area. Yes. Black Widow replied. Send someone to dig secretly to see what's underneath. Ludan remained calm and asked, have you found those things? I went to the secret base of the Hand and found the resurrection coffin. Black Widow replied, but I didn't find the dragon bones. Maybe they were hidden somewhere else. Maybe Alexandra or someone else carried them with them. Or maybe they have been used up. The immortality of the 5 fingers is maintained by the dragon bones. But it is also possible that they were taken away by Master Wang. Ludan thought with a dark face. Without the dragon bones, the resurrection coffin is useless. He was now basically certain that the reason why Master Wang agreed to give him the resurrection coffin was actually a trap. The resurrection coffin was just a stone coffin that had existed for more than 1,000 years. It might be worth a few dollars if sold as an antique, but if you really want to use it to resurrect the dead, you need the dragon bones. If Master Wang really took the dragon bones, wouldn't that force me to buy it? That profiteer. Ludan was in a bad mood, but of course he remained calm on the surface, with an expression of I expected it a long time ago, and continued, the resurrection coffin will stay at the base, and reliable people from the Ministry of Science and Technology will be transferred to study it, such as Fitz and Simmons. Damn, I will arrange this matter myself. What about other places? I went to Alexandra's private villa. Hawkeye looked weird. The collections inside are gone. The villa is still there. Ludan's mouth twitched slightly, and he felt his heart bleeding. Yes, the villa is valuable, but it is at most 10 million, or even several million. What is really valuable is precisely those collections. As for where those collections went, you don't need to think about it. I will send a medical team. You will not take any action next. Continue training. Agent Romanov, contact Master Wang. They are paid so much, so they cannot be wasted. Ludin had a blank expression on his face, and his voice rose 8 degrees. Remember, you are secret agents. Only I know of your existence. You only need to report to me, and be responsible to me. You only accept my orders. Agent Romanov, you are responsible for filing this operation. It is a level 5 incident with level 10 authority. In addition, some things must be written in Shield Trident Headquarters, Director's Office. Ludin turned off the screen and dialed a number. Go to Firestone Base, and send the resurrection coffin to Tahiti Island, to study it together with the Kree Corps. Report this research directly to me, and name it Tahiti Project. At dawn, Lao Wang returned to the Azeroth specialty store, and found that the lights were on. The door opened. Sky rushed out, her beautiful eyes looking back and forth at Lao Wang, and she touched him with both hands, to make sure he was not injured. Then she breathed a sigh of relief, and threw herself into Lao Wang's arms like a swallow returning to the forest. Thank God. It's great that you are okay. Okay, come down. Lao Wang picked up Sky from him, and threw her aside, and walked into the house while saying, buy 4 more freezers, large ones, the kind that can hold people. The Heart of Azeroth has a large space, but it can't be used to hold corpses. Not to mention, that the young lady is uncomfortable looking at it. I feel uncomfortable just thinking about it. I've heard of the portable grandfather, but how can there be a portable corpse? Lao Wang thought for a while and said, in addition, find a way to contact the seller and sell these things. He waved his hand, and a lot of things appeared, and then under the control of the true key, they automatically flew to the shelf. Sky said HMM and hurriedly did it. These things are not allowed to be seen in the light, but as a top hacker, a member of the Rising Tide organization, she has mastered many channels. It is not difficult to sell these good things, it just takes time. Use the money from the sale to buy Stark Industries shares. Lao Wang hesitated for a moment, then added, leave a sum of money for the laboratory as project funds, and pay salaries. Salaries still need to be paid. Lao Wang is not a black-hearted boss. After giving the instructions, Lao Wang lay down on the rattan chair and closed his eyes. A ray of spirit entered the Heart of Azeroth. 24 soul fragments floated on one side, emitting a lavender light, like stars, very beautiful. 4 corpses lay neatly under the soul fragments. The dragon bone occupied the largest space, and Miss Azeroth floated on it. King. The little sister's eyes were as bright as the starry sky, and her voice was as dreamy as the starry sky. The Heart of Azeroth is a supreme artifact created by all the titans except Sargeras. It is endowed with many abilities, and requires a large amount of Azeroth's blood to open and maintain. If you use this dragon bone to exchange it, it should be enough. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.